Um, Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone, everywhere, all at once. Give me 1 second and I'll see you guys. Stream manager. Hello, Scouty Paws. You were not first ones. Rukia was. Hello, hello, hello. Howdy, everyone. Hello, everyone. I'm tired and I'm hungover, so I'm doing a bit of debate stuff, and then we're gonna do the actual podcast, video, you live. Okay. Hello, Pug Lovin'. Hope you're all good, and hello, Count. What number can you count to? Super chat. What is it telling me? I didn't say it. What up, K Money? Free Palestine. Thank you, my man. Thank you, whoever just became a little member on YouTube. On Heart Me. That's what they're called. I might be a bit quiet. Hello from Montreal. Lucky you. Morning, Yak Attack. Morning, everyone. Sunday morning. I'm tired. Had too many beers. But you know how it gets. So much for uploading the debates. They've been keeping me entertained. I'm glad. I know not everyone loves them, but go on. Chris, come to Southampton. What? Well, what about Southampton? What do you want me to do in Southampton? I've never been to Southampton. Thanks from YouTube. Hello. Hangover twins. I'm not too bad. I just fell asleep with all my clothes on and that kind of nonsense, and I didn't sleep too well, so what can you do? Dang. Yeah, if you agree, I'm glad to hear. Am I too quiet today? Let me join. I'm ready. But the problem is you don't want to debate. Oh, what you saying about Israel and USA abomination? I tend to agree with you. I can see from your profile whether you do disagree with me or not agree with me. I can see the stuff you're posting. You're posting "fuck you, Israel." You do not disagree with me. Hi, Chris from Brisbane. Hello from the UK. It's certainly awesome up in here. Israel existed in biblical times. Thanks for that commentary. That's interesting. Hello. Steve Gold, all you post is AI videos, which is insane to me. And a video of Churchill, which is just unbelievable. Hi, Chris. When are you visiting the US? Never. I think it would be cool for you to be at my show. Political artist. Maybe. It depends when. I'm normally quite busy. Well, not that busy, but, it depends. I can pretend to take their sides. It's not hard to fake crazy. I mean, good point. Steph North, hello. Too frail to fly, probably. What, do you think that I'm too frail? That is interesting commentary. You think that I'm too frail to fly? All you post is AI videos. You're not allowed on a plane because you're too dumb and you might accidentally open the door because all you do is consume AI slop all day. If I get in trouble for that, I will be very upset. Your live didn't show up until I went to your channel. That's annoying. That's a bit of a nuisance. I need to get better about posting, saying, hey, I'm live. But I haven't been doing that. Which war is more justifiable? I don't think anything either war. What do you mean, justifiable? In the context of, I think Ukraine is actually being invaded. I don't think that's the kind of thing going on with Israel. Or why this began. Tattoo reveal. I've got all of them. If you don't come to the US, you'll never experience Bucky. What? What is that? Would you rather move to Israel or be the last man on the Bonnie Blue? That is an interesting question. One which I will refrain from answering and plead. Is it the 5th that you plead? I don't know. Whichever one that is, I'm pleading it. Also, you can see all of my tattoos throughout my videos. The only one you can't see is the one on my leg. Have you even done a press up? I can do a press up. I can do at least one press up. I don't really do them much anymore. All the lives. Awesome, my man. And hello, Hyperj. It was nice knowing you, buddy. What was nice knowing me? I haven't seen Tommy Robinson's Oxford debate. Has anyone tried to debate? Not yet, no, but we only started approximately like a short amount of time ago. You pissed off the wrong people. Who did I piss off? Israel? Charlie Kirk was killed by Mossad. Not something I tend to agree with. Interesting commentary. I think he got shot by a guy called Tyler Robinson, most likely, who did quite a long shot on him. But we'll see. Chris, are there still any wimpies? What on earth is a wimpy? There's no genocide. Okay, thank you. Gullible. Who's gullible? Me? That's not nice. It's actually a very horrible thing to say. My Little Pony has more test. Well, My Little Pony would have no testosterone, seeing as they're drawn cartoons. But but they're saying that posting AI is a sign of low T. That cow bullet would have blown his. I think that's not true. The thing about them blowing his head off. I've heard that that's not true, but I don't really care. Go Israel. Thank you for your commentary, McGuffey. Would you consider yourself anti-Semitic? No. My feet are itchy. What do you think of Katie Price? Interestingly, you're asking my opinion of Katie Price. I have no strong opinion. Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Diary of a Wimpy Kid is not set in the UK. It's set in America. I just know Katie Price's son, Harvey Price. I saw Erica Kirk fleeing the scene of Charlie's murder. Not saying she did it, but it certainly changes things. So that's someone reporting that, but I don't think it's true. Do people often tell you to limit your exposure to distressing topics for your mental health? No. Justice? What's the joke there? Isn't Tyler Robinson a patsy? I'm not having a debate about whether Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk or not. Is your girlfriend Persian? No, I don't have a Persian girlfriend. Do you have faith in Burnham? No, I do not. Do you do anything else with your time, bro? Yeah. I run a podcast. And I stream. And I'm tired. And I have beer. Drink beer with the lads. Wimpy is a burger chain. No, I think Wimpy's closed down a long time ago. Someone is requesting to debate. Are you trying to debate? Are those real houseplants? Yes, they are houseplants that are in need of water, which thank you for reminding me. When did you first learn about Palestinian liberation? I first learned about Palestinian liberation in 2017, when I was like 16 or 17, that kind of age. Beautiful. Yes, Israel is God's promised land. Oh, I'm so... Hold on. Can't debate since I agree. That is an issue with debating. Hold on 1 second. We still have wimpies in Canada. Hello?
Good afternoon, young man.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm okay. What's up?
Why are you so hostile against Israel?
Are you from South Africa?
You've got a good ear, my friend.
Well, much like your country once upon a time, they're not very nice to minorities over in Israel.
Yes, but we were not very nice to majorities. It's a difference.
Well, Israel's not nice to the majority of people who inhabit the land.
That is true, maybe. But is there a right to be there?
Not really.
Why do you say that?
Because I don't think they just have some inalienable right to just rule over and oppress Palestinians.
But God promised this to them.
Well, I don't really think we should base things on what God says if that justifies doing whatever you would like to other people.
Do you not believe in God?
No.
Okay. It makes sense then why you would say that.
Yes.
But they believe in God. Except the founder of Zionism. He didn't believe in God.
No, Herzl didn't believe in God.
I think we should have gone to Argentina with this one.
Okay, well, I don't really understand what your position is, of whether you agree with me or disagree with me.
And I'm just here to say, how's it, man?
Okay, thank you. I have no idea what that was about. Oh my god. The guy who owns a bakery, I don't think. You know what? You can have 10 minutes. Hello?
10 minutes with you, sir, seems an eternity.
Well then, why are you requesting to join if you hate me so much?
Because I am here to save Israel, sir,
Save Israel from what?
from the castabouts and the ne'er-do-wells such as yourself who want to chip away at her credibility. You somehow live this false dream that you can marginalize, or even possibly beyond your wildest dreams, you believe that just maybe you can eliminate that nation so that you can replace it with a group of people who wanted the whole thing originally, who wanted to impose their foolish purveyorship of manifest destiny upon the Jewish people and conquer the whole land, which is what they tried to do in 1948. They wanted it all. They could not live side by side in a neighborly manner with good people who have proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that they can innovate, that they can have a democracy with everyone included. And yes, it is a Jewish state. If there's any people throughout history who have a proper call to a state for a safe place, it would be the Jewish people who've been oppressed beyond imagination throughout the entirety of this planet.
Someone just called you Genocide R.R. Martin, which is a pretty funny name because you know, I feel bad comparing George R.R. Martin to you. But anyway, I still think that's very funny whoever said that. Are you mad because did Palestinians take your bakery or something?
You know what somebody did to me? Some miserable creature, some son of a miserable creature. They made an AI picture of me wearing a keffir. Okay, and I believe it's one of the revolutionary style.
Why are you telling me this?
Because this is what your people do, those who you advocate for. They play dirty. They defame people. Okay, this is what they do. They insult. They cajole. They lie. And they make false images.
This is some unhinged.
But you know what was really disturbing? You know what was
sort of stuff.
You know what was really disturbing about that AI replication of me, sir, is that I actually looked like somebody that the Mossad might send a beeper to, with the keffir and the beard, and I looked like one of those guys, and it really, really disturbed me.
Okay, thanks for your little sort of whining scream.
No. If somebody makes a little porgy-wargy AI version of you in a keffir, they will just merely think that it's a little pudding stone in keffir, trying to imitate those revolutionaries that he can never dream to be himself because he's too afraid to go outside in the cold and face the real world. So he stays indoors.
You know, there are people who have seen me wearing a keffir in real life.
I would imagine so. I think you're just silly enough to do that.
Okay, thank you for your commentary on that. I wouldn't be that upset if someone made an AI generated image of me I mean, if it was me doing something illegal and it got me in trouble, then I'd be a bit upset. But just wearing a keffiyeh, who
Well,
gives a shit? It seems to
you
be
can't
very
get in
upsetting.
trouble.
But the other thing that I don't know is because, first of all, you've lied about this bakery issue. You've claimed that you didn't lose the bakery. We've heard that you did lose the bakery because you were
How can
mismanaging it.
anybody know
You
that?
were
How can anybody
mismanaging it.
know?
Well, they know. And now you're telling me that there's a fake photo of you wearing a keffiyeh, and I'm just of the
Bakery,
assumption
sir.
and
The bakery was sold.
I'm just of the assumption that you are probably lying about this and that you do actually have a keffiyeh.
Sir, I know for a fact that the bakery was sold to another person. Okay.
Yes, but I don't know that. I don't think that that's true. But anyway, either way, did you actually have something you
Jesus,
came
how
up to?
would you know? Wait a minute, wait a minute. You have just defamed my character yourself. Now, what proof do you have to have those words come out of your mouth? What proof? If you're going to make an accusation, if you're going to state something about somebody else's life, show me some proof. Otherwise, it is merely hearsay.
I
So
heard
give
it.
me
I
some
heard it
proof.
from the chat. I heard it from the chat, mate.
Oh, okay, thank you, thank you. Okay, you just answered my question. You're willing to base an accusation on absolutely nothing, just like most of your observations are based on absolutely nothing, sir. Although I do like the English language as spoken by English people, it is, you guys have a certain elegance in the way that you speak that we Yanks do not possess. So I will give you
Okay,
credit
okay.
for that.
I feel like you're having some kind of episode. I don't know what is going on with you. This is really just unhinged kind of stuff that you're talking about today.
Well, you're being
I'm not sure really what
sarcastic.
it's coherent or what it's about. I don't know what's going on. I'm quite
Okay, so
tired. Can you either get to the point or I've had enough of this?
let's stay with the point, okay?
Okay.
That no matter what you do, no matter what you advocate for, okay, there will always be a nation of Israel. There will always be the pursuance of the nation of Israel and a justification for its existence.
Which
And there
is,
will always be a claim,
what's the justification for the existence of Israel?
the right of self-determination of the Jewish people in their ancestral homeland. The classic definition of Zionism, sir.
But it's most definitely not their ancestral homeland. If the
It is.
prerequisite of your ancestral homeland or having your ancestral homeland is displacing all of the Palestinian people or displacing enough that they're not a threat to your alternative, it's not your ancestral homeland, okay? I just wanted to quickly note something about what you're saying as well. Okay, so Israel's a democracy, yes?
Yes, sir.
Do you think Israel has a right to the West Bank, East Jerusalem, and the Gaza Strip because it's their ancestral homeland?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Israel, I think we could probably both agree, is in the process of annexing those places. They openly talk about annexing Gaza. They openly talk about annexing the West Bank, yes?
We don't know.
Well, no, but they do talk about it. The Israeli government talks about it. Netanyahu talks
lot of
about how there
people-
won't be, Netanyahu talks about how there won't be a Palestinian state. They talk about how they won't, that they're just going to, they continually vote that it won't happen. So they agree that it won't come about, right? The Israelis.
Sir, people talk about a lot of things.
Wait,
If you'll remember,
so let me ask you a question. If Israel is a democracy, okay, why don't they just offer citizenship to all of those people who live in the territories that they occupy, that they claim that they have an eternal right to because it's their ancestral homeland? Why not?
you're talking about offering the Palestinian people right of return in their
No.
ancestral.
I'm talking about offering Palestinians who live in the occupied territories, which Israel has de facto control over. Why doesn't it just offer them citizenship?
Because those people, by means of their leadership, are absolutely not to be trusted to do anything other than try to eliminate Israel.
Well, that's all that
by
Israel
any
spends its
means
time doing when it
necessary.
comes to Palestinians. It's expelled
No.
them, it's mass killed them, it's tortured them, it's abused them, it's denied them equal rights. I think that when we look at it, it's the Israelis who get up to that kind of stuff and have done for decades. So, you know, I think the point that I'm getting to, though, is you say Israel's a democracy. It basically rules over the West Bank entirely. It has near enough full control over Gaza at this point, the majority of the territory. But for some reason, it doesn't want to offer rights to the citizens who live in those places. And I think that you know the answer, which is Israel cannot be a Jewish state and a democracy. That's not possible. There are too many people who live in historic Palestine that aren't Jewish and would simply vote Israel out of existence. And in a democracy, you should be able to do that. You should have the right to choose. That's the point of a democracy. But Israel is not a democracy because it is premised on the supremacy of Jewish people over other people and their rights being privileged over others.
Now, once again, I want to be very careful not to implicate the people. However, I will implicate the leadership that indoctrinates the people in what you call Palestine, sir. And I will say about this leadership that they will merely, if you give them an autonomous state or the West Bank, they will use it as an unsinkable aircraft carrier to launch little parachute gliders into Israel once again as they simultaneously tunnel into Israel from beneath the ground, sir. This is what they do. This is what they did in Lebanon. And I believe it was 1982. This is what they did on October 7th.
What did they do?
So
Wait, sorry. What did they do in 1982?
they attempted to tunnel in from southern Lebanon. I believe it was either Hezbollah. I believe it was Hezbollah, or it might have been Palestinian.
What's your source for this? Sorry.
Just look it up in the general history and see if I'm not telling the truth.
Sorry, that they tried to tunnel in
Sir,
1982.
Do you think that I read history? Do you really think somebody's going to read a history book, every history, and then source it so I can make sure to have
it's a pretty
notation
boisterous
to get on
claim.
the Chris Kunzler?
It's a
to
pretty
get on the
boisterous.
Chris-
It's a pretty boisterous
Just
claim
look
that
it
I
up
don't
right
think
now,
I've heard
dude.
that much.
Look it
Tunnels
up right now, dude.
into Israel.
From Lebanon in the 80s.
Well, I mean, AI Overview has responded instantly saying there is no historical record of cross-border tunnels built from Lebanon into Israel by the PLO.
Oh God, I wish I had my second device, because it's funny how you get some
The
completely
PLO in
different.
Lebanon, blah 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 blah. I don't think
Okay,
there is.
try Hezbollah. Try Hezbollah.
Well, Hezbollah didn't exist in 1982.
Okay, then try just rats. Were tunnels ever dug?
Well, maybe, but you said in 1982 specifically. I have no idea what you're talking about here. You made a pretty boisterous claim, and you don't seem to have any evidence for it.
Okay. Do you want? Okay, then let me. If you'll give me a second here, I shall grab my second device, which I have now.
Have you got like an iPad or something?
Yeah,
Is it true it's
Yes,
covered in
sir.
Cheeto dust and you can't type on it?
sir. With your little chubby figgy pudding face, I'm sure you eat enough Cheetos yourself.
My little chubby fig pudding face.
Yes, sir. You look like a little elfin dwarf.
Well, elves and dwarves are two different things. Dwarves are like good at mining. They're good with like two-handed weapons. Elves are quite famously quite nimble. They have bows and arrows and stuff. I mean, I'm not sure you're really knowing what you're talking about here. There's also different kinds of elves. You've got dark elves, high elves, wood elves. Like, which kind of elf? If you're going to say something, you've got to be accurate.
I must confess, sir, I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to elves. Now, let me ask
I
you
mean,
a question.
why well, you brought up the elves, so
Yes.
you should know what you're talking about. You should know what you're talking about. Do not bring up elves if you do not know what you're talking about. Can you apologize to the elf and dwarf communities?
I apologize to the elfin dwarf community.
That's okay. I think that they need that. They've had a tough time. Sauron's been killing them. Also, I'm going to remove you because it sounds like you're outside, and I'm not sure you should be on TikTok on a highway. It seems like have you seen Breaking Bad?
Let me move my.
Have you seen Breaking Bad?
The the television.
Yeah.
Program?
Yeah.
No, I don't watch TV.
Well, if you Google Walt's fugue state, you kind of remind me of that sort of stuff. So I think that's enough of that.
Here we go.
He's having a fugue state or something, so I think it's probably best that we don't chat for now. Okay, someone else is requesting to join. Hello?
Hey, what's your problem with Israel? I'm just trying to understand.
I don't like it.
Yeah, why don't you like it? Are you anti-Semitic?
No. Because of the behaviour of the state of Israel, and because I think it's just this state that continually persecutes people and is an obstacle to peace.
Really?
Yeah.
Why have you singled out the only Jewish country in the world?
What do you
Why
mean
don't you
singled out?
focus on Myanmar, Sudan?
What's going on in Sudan?
There's a genocide over there.
Who's genociding who?
You haven't heard about it?
Who's genociding who?
The RSF.
Who are they genociding?
Well, the Sudanese civilians, of course.
Who's backing it?
I don't know. The
What?
Arabs that you're supporting?
So wait. You're telling me and you're talking to me about something and telling me that I should focus on it when you don't even seem to know anything about Sudan in the first place.
Well, I'm not on a TikTok live, doing a whole podcast thing,
But you're literally telling me that I can't talk
trying to
about I can't talk about something because
express
I
my
need to know
views
more
on
about.
something.
You're trying to tell me that I'm not allowed to talk about something because you're telling me that I'm not allowed to talk about something because I should be talking about other things, but you don't know anything about these other things. Like I'm not someone who has like a
Well, you can't say
historical
I don't
background.
know anything. Hold on. You can't say I don't know anything.
Yeah.
You can't say I don't know anything about it. Come on now.
I mean, you know the very, 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 very basics because do you know which ethnic group the RSF are specifically targeting?
Yeah, the Africans,
No,
the black
the
people.
Masalit people.
Yeah, exactly. The
But what you
black
do realize
people,
as
yeah.
well when you talk about like general Arabs supporting the RSF. So there is a specific group of Arabs who support the RSF, and it's the United Arab Emirates government. So the UAE are the main backers of the RSF. But the last time I checked, the UAE is best friends with Israel, and it is not a state that I've ever endorsed or supported. They normalized relations with Israel, and in fact, a lot of Israel supporters pretend that the UAE is some kind of advanced Arab nation that preaches tolerance. That is
Why are you trying to connect it back to Israel, though? Why are you trying to connect it back to Israel?
Because the point is that I've never ever not spoken about Sudan. Like I've talked about Sudan on my profile, but I'm here talking about Israel because Israel is obviously the bigger issue that people want to talk about in Western society, and it's the one that's received more media attention. And I don't think that's a great thing. And I think more people should try and learn about Sudan and talk about it. But I think that the hard truth is when it comes to Sudan is my government is not as directly implicated. There are qualms you can point to, and
I think
definite
you're
things
just
that we could have done
anti-Semitic.
better.
I think you're anti-Semitic, and that's the truth. You care about
Okay.
Israel because you care only because it's the Jews. That's why.
Okay, well, it's not really very clever to just say I'm anti-Semitic. What is anti-Semitism? Oh. Hello?
Yeah, what was that?
What is anti-Semitism? What are you doing?
I don't know. Why don't you tell me? Why don't
Well,
you
you're the
tell
one
me
who's
what it
accused
is?
me of being anti-Semitic, so I would assume that you knew what anti-Semitism bloody was.
I would say that it's hatred against Jewish people. That's what I
Okay.
would say.
And would you say that hatred is irrational?
What do you mean by that? What do you mean
Would you say
irrational?
that it's hating Jewish people for no real justifiable reason apart from them being Jewish?
Well, you can't hate somebody for no reason in general. You
But
can't hate
the
any
Nazis didn't.
whole group
Okay.
of people. You can't collectively hate a group of people.
Yeah.
Any people.
Yeah.
So there's no
Well, I do
justification
not
for any
hate
of
all
that.
Jewish
Full
people.
stop.
The thing is I do not hate all Jewish people. There are plenty of Jewish people who I'm fine with.
So again, why do you keep singling out Israel? What's your problem with Israel?
Well, I've already
Because
explained to
I'm
you
an
what my problem with
Australian. I've
Israel
been to
is.
Israel, and there's nothing going on in Israel. It's perfectly fine. Nothing's happening in Israel. It's just like any other country. It's a normal country.
Israel's
So
killed
don't.
minimum 70,000 people in the Gaza Strip, much likely a much higher number. It's also engaged in a campaign of mass ethnic cleansing against Palestinians in the West Bank and an overall genocide against the Palestinian people as a whole.
Do you know how statistics work? Do you know how statistics work?
Yeah,
Do you know how
I
many?
understand what a statistic is, vaguely. I'm not a
Do you know that
statistician.
there's like 500 million Arabs?
Okay.
There's like 500 million Arabs surrounding 10 million Jews.
So what?
Do you understand that? So that's the problem. That's the problem. That it's not a genocide because they've got 500 million in their population. That's how statistics work. Do you understand that?
Well, you've just given me a statistic. I'm not really sure of its relevance to whether Israel is or isn't perpetrating genocide against Palestinians.
Man, you're just anti-Semitic. You're just
Okay,
anti.
okay. Thanks. This is
Go fuck yourself, man.
is
Go
some
fuck
very-
yourself.
What the hell just happened there? What the hell just happened there? Did you guys lose me for a second? Right, are any of these other people requesting to debate? Sorry, I'm quite tired today. Did you guys just lose me? Did you hear that noise? I don't know what was going on with that. Who has 500 million in their population, lol? Arabs. Australian Nazi mentality. Mulligan Stu, come on, you've had your chance for today. I think there's enough out of you, Stu. When is your diaper changed? I have no idea what you're talking about. If you want to see, I'm certainly not wearing a diaper. It would potentially be easier because then I could not have to pee. Noise was on his end. That was hilarious. What was that jingle? It's when you disconnect from TikTok Live, and I'm not sure why that did that. Why are you still doing this? Because people seem to enjoy it, Rachel. People seem to enjoy it. Why are you still commenting? Why don't you come up and tell me all about how I'm wrong about everything? Last caller was insane. Unfortunately, I think that's a lot of people. I'm still to be honest, in shock about the anti-elfin racism. I know, this guy didn't even know that there are different categories. Also, vis-a-vis turning down debater volume, it's on 10%. I don't really get it. Maybe I can just turn down the volume of Streamlabs, I guess? Hold on. Wait. Give me a second. I'll fiddle around with audio so you can... We'll see what you think about how low I've turned it down now next time someone comes up. Right, is anyone coming up? Or are you all done for the day? Most of Middle Earth is hella ignorant. Preach. You're all obsessed with Israel. Politics, sports, etc. Right, let's have a look at your profile. But I don't think you want to debate just by looking at your profile. It seems that you probably agree with me, but I have no idea.
That the
Well, that's kind of an issue. I agree with you. Well, that's wherein the problem lies. Would the last caller like to discuss how poorly treated the indigenous people? I don't think he knows of the existence of indigenous people in Australia. True Israel comes to me in my dreams. Whose dreams does Israel not come up in of? Are any other people requesting trying to debate? That's the core thing. Debate. Are Jews indigenous to Israel? No. Add me. Well, you have to request to join. That's the thing. Add you. You have to request to join. And you have to debate. I requested. Well, do you want to debate, Brandon Torres? Or do you agree with me? Because that's the crux of the issue, okay? Whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Well, if you want to... Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Why the Earth is flat. Smooth as Trump's brain. Why not do Israeli Omegle? Because that stuff is crazy. Also, I always worry that someone will just, like, appear and just be nude on the stream if I do it on that Omegle stuff. So I don't want to do that. Hold on. Where's my audio? There we go. But yeah, that's why I don't want to go on Israeli Omegle. Half the Epstein... Why are you what are you spamming there? That is an interesting spam. Pretty sure that guy would be livid if someone lumped in US, Austria, New Zealand, Ireland, and UK as British, but is somehow okay to lump in every Arab state as one group. Hamza does the Omegle stuff and farms a lot. Yeah. This guy doesn't think Jews are indigenous to Israel. He obviously is some conspiracy theorist. Ginger Banks, why don't you come up and talk to me about that idea, that wonderful idea? You were in a Louis Theroux documentary, which is crazy, by the way. I hope that Louis Theroux was a nice gentleman. Chris should be nude first, then he'd establish dominance. Is on Israeli Omegle nude. That's the next stream title. Please tell me you just started the stream and I'm not late. Well, it's not been going that long. It's been going, I don't know where you see the timer, but it has been going. It has been going. Lucas, stop yapping, join the live. Yes. About indigenous people, why are you leaving them out? Which indigenous people? Debate for what? They're all correct. Well, thank you for agreeing me. Okay, people are requesting to join. Let's have a look. Well, you're not doing that. You're not requesting to join. Chris, what do you do to decompress after talking to soulless people? I try and do a press up all day, all year. I've been trying to master the ability to do a press up.
Like
Hello.
a push-up? You can't do a push-up, Chris?
No, I can't do a push-up. It's too tough.
Ew.
What?
Okay. Nothing. That's okay. Question for you.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Aviatar David?
Yeah, he was an Israeli former hostage, wasn't he?
Yes. Do you know what happened to him? Why are you smiling?
Because I'm taking his in out.
Ew.
What do you have to
So you
say?
can't do a push-up. You're chewing Zyn. Chris, I'm worried about your health.
Well, you don't chew as in, so that's pretty dumb.
Whatever the fuck you do
By the
with
way,
it.
you know I can actually do a push-up.
I don't believe you.
Okay. Well, that's good for you.
Anyway, could you answer my question, love?
Yeah, I've heard of him. What do you want me to say about him? What do you want to say? Can you just get to the point?
Well, I asked you another question. Did you listen?
What? No?
Do you know what was done to him?
No, what was done to him?
Like the videos that Hamas put out of him?
Oh, yeah, what? Was he the guy they made dig his own grave?
Yes.
Okay, well, what's your point?
I wanted to know your thoughts on it.
Well, it's propaganda. It's not great. Unfortunately, the Israelis do very similar things on a far larger scale.
Could you respond to something without deflection?
Well, because the point of you bringing this up is to make me portray Palestinians as like evil monsters. Well, that's what you're seeking to do. But I think the thing is if you're trying to bring up atrocities perpetrated by whoever, the Israelis are always going to outrank that in terms of what they've done historically and also at the present.
Not even remotely close, but I think that it just goes to show the level of callous that these people exhume, because it was something that was by and large cheered on by the pro-Palestinians. There's either one of two options. They either deny it outright, despite the fact that this is a video Hamas themselves posted.
Okay.
And you could also see in that video, he is severely emaciated while the person who is using food and water.
Maddie,
let me just finish.
Maddie.
Let me just
well, I've
finish.
Already, wait. I want to talk to you because this is what you do every time.
Well, you could talk to me when I'm done talking, not in the middle of my sentence.
Excuse me. Every time, I think anyone who's seen you appear on this, you generally just come on and monologue about some bad thing that's happened to some Israeli person.
No, I'm not monologuing. I'm trying to make a point. Let me make my point.
Well, this is, you are monologue.
No, because I'm talking about the same point through and through. I'm not hopping around. I'm saying one thing on one person.
Come on.
Anyway, it would do you some good to listen, Chris.
Fantastic.
But as I was saying, right, he was severely emaciated in the video while the Hamas person who's basically using food and water as a tool to mock him and his hunger essentially is very clearly well fed, right? So this just goes to show that the aid was there and it was being systematically kept away from hostages, maybe from some Gazans who weren't affiliated with Hamas, but that would fall reliably on them.
I mean, I think that the major thing is, Maddie, is there very evidently was a famine in Gaza. There's a reason that the vast majority of people who are experts on famine, who are not like just talking about Israel and Palestine, like people like Alex Duval and others who've led famine responses around the globe, said that there was a famine in Gaza. And the thing that also makes this fall so flat is, you know, Israel is openly starving Palestinian prisoners, right? This is available in a myriad of different reports. In Israel, there is no humanitarian blockade. There is no attempt to use starvation as a weapon of war, as Israel has done. They are literally just choosing not to feed Palestinian prisoners because Ben-Gvir doesn't want to.
Cool. So you didn't address a single claim I made, which is really cool and very fun. Because we were talking about Eviatar. So you were deflecting to the Palestinians, which is typical for you. Israel is under no obligation under international law to allow.
Yeah, they're an occupying power, Maddie.
finish.
Maddie, they're an
Let me
occupying power.
finish.
This is nonsense.
Mhm.
Maddie,
Yeah,
they're
they
an
are.
occupying power. They have
There's a
every
valid
obligation
military-
to deliver
Let me
aid.
finish.
They have every
No.
obligation to deliver aid
Chris,
to the
you have
civilian
to let me
population of
finish.
Gaza, Maddie. You can
You
sit
have
there
to
and
let
you
me
can
finish, my
lie.
love.
You can sit there and you can lie
Perfect.
and
So
make
are you
stuff
gonna
up.
let me finish?
Okay.
Are you gonna let me finish?
Okay.
So you're wrong. Under international law, there is the caveat that you do not have to allow in aid when you have reasonable grounds to believe that it is specifically going to your enemy, to the aggressor, which even the UN, who is vehemently anti-Israel, has openly admitted that Hamas and other Palestinian groups have taken over 82% of the aid.
Where
The
did they
UN
admit that?
official,
Where
wait,
did they
let
admit
me
that?
let me finish. If you interrupt me every time, there's no point.
Okay, well, I need a source for that claim.
Yeah, you could look it up from the UN.
Okay, where?
Just look up UN.
Well, Maddie, you've
says,
come and made a very bold claim.
I will pull up the source if you don't know how to use
82% of
Google as soon
aid
as I'm done speaking.
taken by Hamas UN. Where does it
If
say
you
that?
if you interrupt me every single time,
Maddie,
there's no point.
Maddie, I need to know where this came from. If you're going to make a really,
Let
really,
me
really bold
finish.
claim like that, I
Yeah.
need to know.
Yeah. So I just said that I'd be more than happy to provide your source if you don't know how to use Google as soon as I was done speaking. But you can't interrupt in the middle of my point every single time, Chris. It doesn't work that way.
Okay.
Do we understand?
Maddie, I think you have to make this claim. I'm not interrupting you.
I made the
I am
claim. You are
talking about you
interrupting.
need to show me where this came from.
And I gladly said that I will
Well, then
pull
do
it up
it.
as soon as I'm
Do it
as I'm
now.
done speaking. No,
Do it
it
now.
doesn't work
You
that
aren't
way.
just
As
going to
soon as
sit
I'm
here
done
and spew
speaking.
lies. You aren't
As
just going
soon
to
as
sit
I'm
here.
done speaking, my love.
Maddie, you
Chris.
aren't going to sit here and just spew lies. You're going to back up the claim.
Yeah, I will easily back it up as soon
Okay.
as I'm done speaking. But you
Finish
can't
your
stop me in
speaking
the
and
middle of
then
my
do it.
sentence.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to, but stop interrupting me every time.
Okay, go on.
Knock off Timmy Turner. Anyways, as I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, not only that, but if you look, Israel has allowed in an abundance of aid, the vast majority of which was not being delivered by the UN because the UN was scared to go in there because of the constant attacks by the Palestinians. The IDF even offered them security detail, which they turned down. And I could tell you, as somebody who has actually been to the Gaza border and seen the aid with my own eyes that was sitting there rotting from the UN, it absolutely existed. This is why Hamas was never being famished. This is why the Palestinians were suffering, right? Because of other Palestinians, because they cause all their own problems. Now, I'll gladly get you the article since you don't know how to use
yeah,
Google.
go on, get me the article where the UN says this. The creepy lady is that opinionated girl who is a general racist. I'm waiting. She's insufferable. I don't think you're wrong. I'm just waiting. Hello?
Do you, yeah. Do you accept Reuters as a source?
Okay, what's the Reuters article?
Here you go. I will put it on the screen.
Okay.
Damn
you
it,
can't
it's
really
cut
see
off.
it. We can see you.
You could Google it. It
What's
just
it
says
called?
official. Official says Hamas obstructing aid in Gaza.
Hamas obstructing aid
UN
in
official
Gaza.
says.
Wait, you said, but
Yes.
that's not the claim you made. You said 80% of aid was confirmed by the UN taken by Hamas.
No, I said confirmed taken by Hamas and other Palestinian
No,
groups.
you said Hamas. But also, I think...
Play back the audio.
Maddie,
I said Hamas and other Palestinian
I have an
groups.
article to show you. So, okay, so there was a leaked internal UN memo.
So you got the source and now all of a sudden...
Back in 2024.
Okay, I see how it is
Well,
now.
Maddie, that was absolutely not the article, okay? But anyway, let's just have a look at
It
this one.
absolutely was.
Maddie. Gangs looting Gaza aid operate in areas under Israeli control, aid groups say. So, a UN memo obtained by the Post concluded that gangs may be benefiting from a passive, if not active, benevolence or protection from Israel's military. Okay, so someone who is mentioned in here, the UN internal memo specifically mentions Yasser Abu Shabab, okay? Yasser Abu Shabab is now dead, but he is the main and most influential stakeholder behind systematic and massive looting of aid convoys, okay? Netanyahu backing Yasser Abu Shabab. Now, if I remember, Netanyahu confirms arming clans opposed to Hamas. Is referring to are the reports that Israel, under his authorization, has been supplying weapons to a clan in Gaza led by a man called Yasser Abu Shabab. Now, you've just cited the United Nations previously, but she's gone. She's gone.
I'm not gone.
Well, Maddie, so do you admit you cited the UN previously? Now you've got the UN there saying, hi, this guy was looting our aid from Israeli areas, and you have the Prime Minister of Israel admitting that he was being armed. I'm waiting.
Yeah, you can keep waiting because you didn't address my point.
What did I not address?
You didn't even look at the article. You just said, that's not what you said, and then you completely
it's called
shifted
what?
the goalpost.
Reuters. Let's have a look. It's a paid-for article, which I'm not paying for.
It's not a paid-for article. I was just on it, and I certainly didn't pay for it.
Well, it's paid for me. It says I have to subscribe to Reuters to continue reading, and I am not doing that.
There is no way it says that.
Do you think I'm lying?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, well, it's pretty
I think
odd
you're either lying or you're on the wrong article.
Okay, well, here's the article. It's the same article you just mentioned. It literally says up here, Hamas obstructing aid, and it says I need to pay £1 per week, and I do not have £1, Madeline. I'm not getting that Kufi money like you are.
I wish I was getting Kufi money. You're that broken for it.
Oh, no, you work for Turning Point USA, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Either way, Maddie, so you cited the United Nations previously, but I'm really interested where this claim of 82%, can you show me in the article, seeing as I can't seemingly access it? You show your screen where it says 82% of aid is being taken by Hamas.
I didn't say Hamas, my love. Listen,
Okay,
it's
well,
important.
where does it say in the
Hamas and
article?
other Palestinian groups.
Where does it say that in the article? By the way, guys, I tried to use Archive.ph, but for some reason it keeps saying that it's loading it. I don't know why. But you said that Hamas was losing all the aid.
Sure.
I mean, Maddie,
Maddie,
I think what's funny about this time is I'm recording all of this, and I can stick it up on YouTube if you'd like, where you can see how much of a joke you are. But I think the best part is I'm really glad, Maddie, I'm really glad that you previously cited the United Nations as a credible source, because I just showed you an article.
Oh, no, I don't find them to be credible.
Well, Maddie, I just showed you an article of the United Nations saying, from a leaked internal memo, by the way, one that was not meant to be made public, that Israel is backing the gangs. I also showed you that Netanyahu himself admitted backing the guy who was described as the key looter of aid by the United Nations, which is kind of crazy, isn't it?
Ooh, my love, you realize that you kind of just contradicted yourself, right? Because you're sitting here, which, by the way, I do not find the UN to be a credible source when it comes to matters of Israel because of their heavy implicit bias against them and the fact that they, of course, once again, were instrumental in helping October 7th to take place and spreading the propaganda thereafter. But with that being said, so obviously when they're biased against Israel, it's going to take a lot for them to condemn it. You are sitting here trying to deny that it's mostly Palestinians that have been looting the aid. Israel has been allowing it in. It's been being stolen.
But I just showed
So
you that they operate
let me
under Israeli
just finish.
protection.
Let me just
But Maddie,
finish.
Maddie, what do you have to say
Let
about
me
these people
finish,
operating under
Chris.
Israeli protection?
Let me finish.
Okay.
So let's concede one of your points, right? You have to concede one or the other. Either admit that the Palestinians have been stealing aid, and then we could get into your claim that it's under Israel's protection, or you have to walk back your claim that Israel doesn't allow aid in. Is it being stolen? And is Israel?
Wait.
Is Israel allowing it to be stolen by Palestinians, or is Israel not letting it in?
Maddie, you're going to be quiet for a second, okay? So what I think is, or was going on at that time, I think it is only at the start of this year was the first time where Palestinians in general living in Gaza had their nutritional needs met for the first time. I think Israel was not allowing enough aid in. I think that this is clear and evident from absolutely all of the reporting. I think that the world leading experts on famine all talked about this. I think the international aid organizations all talked about this. Now, why was Israel allowing this looting to occur, I think, is the more important question. And I think the reason that it was doing it is because then they could say, well, aid got delivered. But the thing is Hamas stole it. But when you actually look at what was happening, Israel was backing the specific gangs to steal it. And what you are trying to do is to get me to concede the point that Israel tried to make, which is that Palestinians generally were looting the aid. But what the UN's own reporting, which, by the way, you later on cited, shows, is that actually it is a gang specifically backed by Israel who were the biggest looters of aid, which was Yasser Abu Shabab. The UN named him as the main figure.
Great. So I asked you a very simple question because you made two opposing
I think you're having
claims.
the floor wiped with you, and so you just keep doing this same thing of just going, oh, you asked this, I asked this, I asked this. Maddie, you're dancing around the fact that it is very evident that Israel allowed the aid to be looted because it was useful to them. They wanted the aid to be looted to portray it as impossible to take in aid into Gaza.
So the issue is I don't allow people to dance around the actual questions, and I actually hold your feet to the fire. And I understand you're not used to that, which is why you're doing your nervous.
Doing very well.
Yeah, no, I understand. I understand. That's why you're doing your nervous little laugh, because that's what all of you do. But you made two opposing claims, so I'm going to need you to pick one. This way we could establish what your argument is.
Well, Maddie,
so
I just gave you a very clear example
Wait
of
a
my
second. Let
argument.
me finish.
Do not dance around it.
Let me finish my sentence. Very simple. Your original claim is that Israel's not allowing aid in. Your following claim is that Israel's allowing aid in, but they're supporting Palestinian groups to steal it. Yes. Which one are you saying is factually correct?
Well, I just told you that Israel was allowing nowhere near enough aid in. This is clearly noted by pretty much every single international aid organization. It literally requires you to put your hands over your eyes and just go, no, it's not happening because the state perpetrating the crimes told me that it's not happening. I'm sorry, Maddie, if the Nazis were telling you we're actually giving enough aid to the people in our camps, but every international organization was going, yeah, actually, that's not the case, you would not believe the Nazi narrative. But in the case of Israel, because you have been financially incentivized to support and spew out their lies and propaganda. Yes, you have, Maddie. Maddie, who paid for your recent trip there?
Who paid for my recent trip there?
Have you been on a trip to Israel with Kufi?
Yeah, that wasn't my most recent one. So you have
received financial remuneration for your support for Israel. You have been on a paid propaganda trip to the state of Israel, Madeline. Whereas I have not. No state has ever, or organization like Kufi, it may not be a state, but no organization like Kufi gives me anything. Whereas you go on paid trips, fully paid for. I'm sure you got 5-star hotels. You've met Netanyahu, I must remind you. And you come here, and you tell me that we should buy the Israel narrative. I am sorry. You are the type of conspiracy theorist who would try and tell me that I should not trust what the experts, what my eyes see in front of me, which is a campaign of starvation and the utilization of aid as a weapon of war against Palestinians. Chris. And by the way, Maddie, do you know what sets the famine? Wait, Maddie, no, because you just come in here and you monologue. You come in here and you monologue. You come in and you monologue about shit that is absolutely irrelevant, Maddie, and it is time that you are quiet. Do you know what sets Gaza apart as a famine? Go look at the size of Sudan on a map. Sudan is absolutely huge, okay? There are a multitude of different factions fighting inside of Sudan. It isn't just the RSF and the Sudanese Armed Forces, okay? Whereas in Gaza, one of the major issues that you have that's happening in Gaza, okay, right now, is that all of the structures to provide aid to Palestinians already pre-existed. Because of the fact that the Gaza Strip really could have never supported itself, they have been supported by the international community for an incredibly long time. So, all of the things that are needed to feed the people there already exist. In Sudan, that does not exist. It is incredibly hard to get aid in. Israel created a fishbowl in Gaza where they intentionally use starvation as a weapon of war against Palestinians.
Great. Are you done?
You're not going to listen to anything, and that's the major issue.
I listened to all of it, which is why I was able to use your own words against you, and then you got really nervous about it, and then you started bringing up Kufi because that was your way to deflect. But I listened to all of what you said, Chris. So let's get into it, right?
I don't think it's not relevant. You go on paid trips to Israel.
I wish I was on a paid trip
You
to
just
Israel right
admitted
now.
you went to paid trips to Israel.
The trip was paid, but I've never gotten paid by... I've never gotten paid by Israel.
You get paid
Anyways.
by Turning Point USA to do dog
I
shit
work
propaganda.
for Turning Point.
You get paid for a Turning Point USA to do dog shit propaganda
My
for the
role
state
at
of
Turning
Israel.
Point-
Maddie,
I
there's
don't
no
do-
way you could sustain
You
your own
think that
social
Turning
media
Point
career.
pays me to post about Israel?
They pay you to post your slop, yes. No doubt.
No, they don't.
What do they pay you to do?
Go to events and do campus debates
About what?
about whatever topic I want.
Is
or
Israel
people
one
wanna
of those
talk about.
topics?
No, it's not. Actually,
Really?
Islam is.
Really?
Islam is.
Fantastic,
So
Maddie.
you can come request me to debate Islam at your campus.
Oh.
But as I was saying, right? Let's go over your points because you said a lot of nothing, my love. Starting with the fact that it's absolutely not a genocide, which is why the UN, in their desperation to make it it's not a famine. It's not either, but it's not a famine in this specific case. Which is why the UN, in their desperation to try to make it appear as one, had to literally change the definition of famine in order to make it meet the threshold.
Have
right?
they ever done that before? Maddie, have they ever done that before? Can I ask you a question? Wait. Have they ever done that before? Have they ever done that before? Answer the question. Have they ever done it before? Have they ever done it before?
I'm not answering shit
Okay.
asked in the middle of my sentence. You can
Okay,
wait your
keep talking
turn.
then.
Anyways, I was planning on it. They've done this before specifically to try to help the Palestinian people in their never-ending victimhood, which is why they also changed the definition of refugee, but only applies it to Palestinian people, the forever refugee from a country that never was. It's fabulous. It's amazing. Just pure propaganda coming out of them. This idea that Israel wasn't allowing in enough
We
aid
need to
is
stop there,
simply
Maddie, because we need
stop.
to chat
No,
about
we don't
something.
need to stop
No,
there.
we
You
do.
need to let me finish.
Maddie, I think
you
we need to
let
agree.
me finish.
Maddie, I'm going to
Chris-
have to mute you for a second. I'm going to have to mute you for a second.
No, if you keep
Because we
interrupting
need
me,
to do a
then I'll
fact
just
check.
leave. It's
We
fine.
need to do a fact
No, you
check
need
on
to
one
let
of
me
your claims.
finish.
We need to
You
do a
need to
fact
let
check
me
on one of your
finish.
claims.
You
Let's do a
need to
quick...
let me finish.
Maddie, let's do
You
a quick...
need to let me finish.
Let's do a quick
Chris,
fact
if you
check.
don't let me
Let's do a-
finish my sentence, then I'll just
Then
leave.
that's
I'm not
okay,
going
Maddie,
to...
because
Okay,
everyone will
great.
see that you're scared of
Okay,
being
great.
fact-checked on your
It's not
bullshit.
scared of being fact-checked. You
Okay,
can
so
do
let
what
me
you want.
fact-check you, Maddie. Let me fact-check you.
You
because...
can when I'm done.
Maddie, no, but you've just
You
made a point.
interrupt me.
You've just made a point to gish gallop around. Let's fact-check your point, okay? So, what you are saying here, so this...
You've made so
this
many
is from
points,
Jeremy,
Chris. It's my turn to talk.
Maddie, this is from...
It's my turn
Maddie,
to talk. It's
Maddie,
my
Maddie,
turn to
it's
talk.
my life,
It's my
though.
turn to talk.
Maddie, it's my
I
life.
don't give a shit.
Well, I do. You either get
That's how a
fact-checked...
conversation-
You either get fact-checked or I kick you out now. You have
I
one, you
don't
have two
care.
choices. Okay, you get fact-checked and you run off as the scared little cat you are. Fantastic. Okay, guys. So, Maddie has just there made a very, very common famine denial trope, okay? So, this is from Jeremy Conidike. So, this guy is someone who coordinated response efforts for South Sudan, Yemen, Ethiopia, and Nigeria. He is in no way someone who is just doing this because he hates Jewish people, okay? So, here is what you have to say. Because this is a misreading. Israel's foreign ministry claimed that the IPC twisted its own rules and ignored its own criteria just to produce false accusations against Israel. This is a misreading of a long-standing technical guidance used to confirm famine conditions. The guidance has provided two ways of assessing malnutrition: systematic weight for height assessment, WHZ, or mid-upper arm circumference screening. Because these measure different physical characteristics, they have different population thresholds for famine, 30% for WHZ and 15% for MUAC. Both are valid, and indeed, this same 15% MUAC threshold was used when issuing a famine declaration in Sudan, as well as in South Sudan in 2020 and 2017. And of course, no one batted an excuse me, an eyelash then. So this whole notion that the famine definition was changed in some way to benefit the Palestinians is factually inaccurate. It is a lie put out by paid Israeli propagandists. So, I mean, Maddie just ran from a fact check. You guys saw her bring up a fake article. Do you see why this is why she needs to monologue? Because she had to get off the subject. She claimed that an article said that 80% of aid was stolen, and it didn't. I don't know. I don't know. I think that that's what happens when you need to run away from a fact check. No, Maddie left because I fact checked her and she couldn't take it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what you guys are thinking. I just did a fact check and she... No, I was going to use the P word, but I was like, oh, I probably just shouldn't be calling someone that, especially because TikTok will ban me for it. She really is. To be fair to her, she is carrying the flame in a way that a lot of us would like to. But yeah, I don't know. I wasn't going to use the B word. I was going to say, yeah, pussycat, but I just felt a bit weird saying it and uncomfortable and gross. I don't know why I didn't want to say it, but... Yeah, if she dropped, tell her to come back. No, I'm not going to bring her back because Maddie couldn't accept a fact check. And if Maddie wanted to fact check me at any point, she could have done it and said, oh, here's an actual fact check. But the thing is she won't bring it up. Also, even Stronger Belwas pointed out another thing which Madeline lied about. Madeline, who works for Turning Point USA and also admitted to going on paid trips to Israel and meeting Netanyahu. No, the UN did not say that 87% of Gaza's humanitarian aid is looted by Hamas. That's an interesting one. Damn. Well, yeah. Also, why do you keep saying that Maddie has a... I don't think that's true, and I don't want to perpetuate that claim. Post the debate. Oh, I will, don't worry. We got about 20 minutes and maybe people will be interested in watching it. I don't know. By the way, guys, on YouTube, how's the audio doing over there? I've fiddled around with the audio a little bit. And by the way, thank you for the Cappy for the shell energy. And thank you for the Ari for put your mouth, whatever that is. Thank you, everyone. A whole story to feed people. I know, but what you have to understand is she gets paid for. She gets paid to do this, okay? Like, it's pretty evident she does. You don't understand her source was the UN and she said, I don't trust the UN. Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, by the way, what she's talking about is recently the United Nations did say that Hamas was interrupting the flow of aid into Gaza. They claim that they were going after smugglers. Now, smuggling has been a big problem, but the whole issue is longer term. You can see that the Israelis are the ones who've been backing this up. Better now. Audio's good. I'm sorry, I was just fiddling around with it. What was that lady's name? That lady's name was Isaac Zaleh of the Overzealots channel. That was who was just debating that. Isaac Zaleh of the Overzealots channel. You can check him out. Yeah, that's Isaac Zaleh of the Overzealots channel, and he was putting on a lady's voice.
La boo-boo.
This is gold. I didn't like debates at first, but between the guy and last week and this, gold, Jerry. Thank you, Grandma Caprio, for throwing me the $5. Incredibly kind, my man. Yeah, that's Isaac Zaleh of the Overzealots podcast. He just sent me a text as well because he was so upset about how he'd done that. I don't know if he's watching, but if he is, sorry, Isaac. Get the next person up now. Well, this is the problem. You don't really have a chat or chance to. By the way, I don't know. Lonabox somehow knew he knows that opinionated girl, I think. I don't really know how or why you talk to her, but yeah. Is this thing true? My girlfriend started telling me this about the claim of something there, but yeah, I won't repeat it. She has spoken many times of her. I can't repeat that. I'm worried I'm going to get banned. If any of you want to send me proof of that or claims to do with that, then you can. I don't know if we're going to have another debate today, but we'll see. Also, so what when Hamas steals aid? Just food Gaza with more aid. Yeah, I know. And also, by the way, this isn't to, like, justify or downplay the famine in Sudan, okay? The famine in Sudan is absolutely awful. Go look at the size of Sudan and imagine how much more difficult it is coordinating a famine response to that as opposed to Gaza, which is literally one of the most densely populated places on Earth, where all of the populations have been concentrated in specific places. Israel is committing the genocide in Sudan. It's more the UAE. If you're blaming someone for the genocide in Sudan, the RSF perpetrated it with the backing of the UAE, so it's not really Israel's responsibility entirely by some woman for weird behavior. Is he? I'm not weighing into that. I saw he was defending Destiny, which is just odd. I won't encourage any of that. Don't bother other people who I debate with. Don't go into their personal lives. Don't harass them. I will not encourage that. Because that last person was Isaac Zale of the Overzealots channel, in case you didn't know. By the way, Maddie always requests to join my lives, like regularly. Do we have anyone else trying to debate? Because I have 30 more minutes max, and if there's no one soon, then I won't do one. But yeah. Chris, serious question. How do you think this ends? How will life get better for the Palestinians? That is a very complex question, and I am more like predicting the future is really hard, but we'll see. We'll see. I hope it ends with some kind of justice for the Palestinian people, and in the future, I think it will. I think that the major issue is that right now, one of the major issues is that for Israel is the change in the international community. I'm going to be real. When you're paying for paid propaganda trips to Israel, if you're getting paid for paid propaganda trips to Israel, and that person is Maddie, I think it's kind of indicative of the point that Israel has reached. She does always call me my love, which is weird, and I was wondering what one of you kept on saying, why you were saying it's harassment. And to be fair, if I was calling a girl my love, it would be rather demeaning. The one I wish you guys saw, which there is probably no one watching on TikTok right now who knows this. So when I mentioned Louis Theroux earlier, there is this lady who goes to like Burning Man and loves Israel, and her name's Ginger Banks, and she's in you can look her up, she's in a Louis Theroux documentary, and she used to come up and call me like a misogynist, and then she sent me an email apologizing, saying you're not a misogynist, but she really doesn't like me, so yeah. Well, unfortunately for the ladies, I have a girlfriend who I love very much. Ginger Banks was in chat, but yes, it's crazy. It's crazy. She's being demeaning and dismissing you. I know. Oh, Cosmic, thank you for the breakthrough star. Is that to represent that I'm a breakthrough star? Incredibly kind. A girlfriend that lives in Canada. Abu Bibi, you must be watching me quite a lot if you know that my girlfriend's Canadian. But yes, I do. La Boo. Bringing up the aid theft while Israel is killing those waiting for it certainly sounds like someone who isn't paid by Israel would say. La Boo. Territory, thank you for the $5. That is the kind of thing that someone who isn't remunerated for spreading nonsense would say. Would I ever want to be ginger for the day? Well, what difference would it make? It's just a hair color. She goes to a different school. She does indeed. I appreciate your content. Thank you, Cosmic. Very nice. Very kind. No, I don't think she gets paid to go in my debate. She doesn't come in enough. Yeah. Thoughts on Russia sending rockets to Poland? Haven't really been keeping up with it, mate. I'm a bit out of it this week. I'm gonna get back to it next week. But yeah, I know that there's been some crazy shit happening. I love that clip of Trump where he starts talking about Minnesota and whether Iran's been hacking them and destroying their water, and he's like, Iran has bigger problems to worry about. They're making it up, which is probably true. I'm academically curious on your thoughts of Rhodesia. I guess that how I feel about Rhodesia is that, like, you know, I'm not really clued up on the history of it, but I'm going to be real with you here. I don't... Thank you for the potato. I don't think that I'm in any way going to feel sympathy for, like, a whites-only state built in the image of apartheid South Africa or in that kind of line. It built in that kind of vision, and I think that people who yearn over it are fucking idiots, because if Rhodesia was so good, it would still be there. Back again. Holy shit, she contradicted herself. Cosmic, thank you for sending a squirrel, like having fun. I'm not sure what that was. Thank you for sending that. Hello, Karl Marxinson. More debates. Well, the problem is you need someone to debate. As a Minnesotan Somali, I am tired. I'm sorry. I mean, yeah, I can imagine. The way that Trump talks about Somali people is fucking disgusting and racist as shit, but, you know, at least the people being paid to do it are people like Maddie. Streamlabs is a dummy. Yeah, if you put a full stop, you get in trouble. Ethan Klein's Pathetic behavior. Trump cancels. Oh my god, he cancels trikes. That is a mistake. Cosmic, thank you for the shell energy. Very kind. I'm sorry for writing trikes. Trump has not cancelled trikes, which are three-legged bikes, I think. Excuse me. Honest thoughts on Lonerbox. How does he compare to other people you've debated? Lonerbox is definitely smarter than the average person you encounter on TikTok. I also think Lonerbox is quite a competent debater, and I think debating is more of a skill than it is proving yourself. The only reason I did it 2 times with Lonerbox was because the first one, I feel like I'm doing cultural appropriation with that, but thank you. Sorry, what was I saying? The reason that I feel like when it comes to I did the second debate was because the first one, you know, I just didn't give a great account of myself. But when I prepped, I think you can watch it back and it's pretty clear that it was decent. Thank you for the pinch face and the djembe master. Thank you. Very kind. Is worse than apartheid. Yeah, of course it's worse than apartheid South Africa, just in the sense of just mass killing. Can I get me a 3-legged bike to ride? I did it 2 times with Lonerbox. Well, maybe that's the arc, you know. Nick Fuentes and Destiny were banging, so maybe one day Lonerbox and I will be doing that. I do not know, and I cannot say. You just missed it. I just chatted to that opinionated girl. She's probably going to go have a struggle sesh. Go debate Millie or Penny Lane. Who's Penny Lane and Millie? Is Penny Lane the lady from The Big Bang Theory? I don't know who that is. I will post that debate. The other ones are not great. 3-legged bikes. Oh, you got it wrong. Oh no, you got it wrong. Wah. On YouTube, it's like, thanks for the £5 on TikTok donations are so strange. On YouTube, it's like, thanks for the £5. But on TikTok, it's like, thanks for the tap dancing seagull. I don't get it. I think it's for like people who do like those. Thanks for the roses. JP, thank you for the breakthrough star. Very kind. Go debate Eleanor Rigby. I'm not sure who she is. Roman pseudo bandit. Because they saw how Greek sophists were used by rich men and politicians, and I mean literal people that were sophists to influence the public. Yeah, I guess that's also one of the things that I've been thinking about. Like, the people debating for these big pro-Israel people are like Sneeko and Myron Gaines, and these guys are like dumb as rocks. So I'm not sure it's the best idea that they're the people doing this. So I don't know. Jonathan Cornricus, that guy is never debating me. Ice cream's so good. Thanks for the protein. Thanks for the roses. Thoughts on a one-state solution where the oppressors are forced out to prevent oppressors and oppressed living together. Bad Emp believes in it. My belief isn't that. I think you have to, if you want to hear my full belief, by the way, we've actually just uploaded a long-ass podcast on YouTube about the one-state versus two-state. And I think I'm actually pretty happy and proud with it. It's doing pretty well on YouTube. It's like 7 out of 10, so it's not a bad one. But yeah. Thank you for the Lego, the puzzle heart. But yes, I think it's just like there are some people who've got to go, but I think generally that they should try and build a state of people who live together. Debate Dean Withers. Debate Dean Withers about what? Like whether I like the Republican Party or what or something, and I don't like the Republican Party. Hello, hold on. Have you recovered from the earlier meltdown?
Well, you were the one that was actually trying to trigger. You were trying to trigger me for whatever reason. You're repeating yourself continuously.
I had a few too many beers last night, mate.
Why are you smirking like you won the debate? You didn't win anything. You know, you just
you were just kind of upset and you just left, and I was kind of, you were kind of upset and you left, and we were all like sad about that because they were like, oh my god, it's least racist Australian ever.
Hold on. I'm not racist, first of all, but you're an apologist for Arab colonialists because that's what they did in the 7th century. Well, they colonized the Middle East. Mm-hmm. So you're an apologist for them. And you also do revisionist history because you're trying for whatever reason, I'm assuming you're British.
A good guess.
You've got nothing to do with the Middle East, but you feel entitled to make a comment about it and talk about Middle Eastern history.
Well, I mean, which country basically created the state of Israel?
The state of Israel wasn't created by a country.
Well, which country
So what are you
signed
talking
the
about?
Balfour Declaration? My country, yes?
The Balfour Declaration wasn't the declaration of the state of Israel.
No, but it was the declaration that the
State of
British
Israel.
wrote into the British mandate that there would be a Jewish state built in Palestine, and they worked towards that goal throughout the time that they ruled it, especially early on. They were very, very, very big supporters of the Zionist project. There are a multitude of different laws passed. They also, by the way, instituted a guy called Herbert Samuel as, I believe, the first High Commissioner, because the previous guy was the governor of Jerusalem. That was Ronald Storrs. But anyway, go look up Herbert Samuel. So Herbert Samuel was appointed to be the to his position, not because he had the background, not because he was Jewish, for literally one reason. He was appointed because he was a Zionist. He was a massive supporter. The British put him in power, and what he did with his power was basically enable the early Zionist project to, carry out the creation of building parastate institutions. There was some.
That's not true. That's not true.
It is true. It is true. Okay, what's your counterclaim to this?
The counterclaim is that had nothing to do with Herzl. Well,
I didn't mention Herzl. I mentioned Herbert Samuel. I mentioned Herbert Samuel. I didn't mention Herzl. Why are you bringing up Herzl?
You're talking about, because you're trying to draw it back to the Balfour Declaration. You're trying to take it all the way back to the 1800s, okay? I'm talking about the 1900s. I'm talking about when Israel was created in 1948. And before that, before 1948, Israelis themselves had every right to create their state, and they didn't know if they were going to call it Israel. They didn't know what they were going to call it. But regardless, that's what it came out to be. It came out to be Israel. Okay, and how'd that happen? Because in 1947, the Arabs waged a war against Israel in 1947, and the Jews won the war.
Well,
that's how you have the state of Israel.
That's not at all a counter to the claim of what I've just said, which is the British helped them build parastate institutions. This is largely agreed upon by
the British
many different
took
people.
the weapons away from the Jews. The British,
at what point?
The British fought against the Haganah and the Irgun and the Lehi. They fought against all, and the Palmach. The Palmach did a big job against the British.
The Palmach were also trained by the British, no?
There was a police force.
But the Palmach were trained by the British, no?
There was a police force that was trained. It's called the Jewish Brigade in the British Army. They were part of the British Army.
Hold on. Founding of
But regardless, that doesn't matter, because they ended up fighting against the British.
Established, was established by the Haganah, blah, 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 blah.
I'm trying to educate you. The problem is you don't know about these things. That's why you have to go to Google.
Here we go. Right, okay. So I was right. In the early summer of 1941, the British military authorities agreed to joint operations against Vichy forces with the Palmach.
Yeah, so what?
So they did, so I was right. So I was right.
Also,
but eventually, you do realize eventually. But you do realize what happened later on is basically the British were no longer supportive, or as supportive as the Zionists needed them to be, of them building a state as quickly as they wanted to. So eventually they turned on the British. However, what that does not change is the years of support that they offered to the Jewish people and denied to the Palestinians prior. Like literally Herbert Samuel was appointed. But either way, one of the funniest things that you brought up, and I've just remembered it, one of my favorite bits that you brought up is you said that I'm an apologist for Arab colonialism, okay? What is colonialism?
Colonialism is taking your culture, your identity, and your people to a region they're not indigenous to. That's exactly what
that would aptly describe Israel. Okay, so you're an apologist for You're saying that I'm an apologist for Arab colonialism, something that happened thousands and thousands of years ago, over 1,000 years ago.
Where are Jews from, mate?
Most of the ones who settled in Palestine initially were from Europe.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? So you think the Jewish people and religion comes from Europe?
No, but they lived in Europe for centuries. They'd lived there. They were part of European society, although they were definitely persecuted and ostracized from it, but they'd lived in Europe. They spoke a European style language, Yiddish, which if you listen to sounds kind of similar to German. And then they went over to Palestine and did settler colonialism there. And that's how they became Israelis, by ethnically cleansing and attempting to eliminate
First
the
of all,
actual
they went
indigenous
to the
population of
British
Palestine.
mandate.
Can I ask you a question? You're Australian, right?
Yeah, I'm Australian.
So
Yeah.
you know what makes the indigenous people of your country, Aboriginals, indigenous, right?
Yeah.
It is
What?
utterly ridiculous.
The fact that you guys went over there and attempted to eliminate their culture, basically. That's why they're indigenous. It's not just because they were there first. Part of what defines indigeneity is you guys went over there and sought to eliminate their culture. In the context of Palestine, how on earth are you comparing that to people who literally went over and called themselves openly colonizers? Like, you do realize the early Zionists called themselves colonizers.
Because it meant something.
It-
Colonization back then meant something
is
different. It
utterly
was a good
ridiculous.
thing. Colonization back then was a good thing.
Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Flesh Deficiency, thank you for the 10 gifted over on YouTube. My goat. You know what I'm actually going to do right now? I'm going to drop 5 gifted over on YouTube. That is what is going to happen. 5 gifted. It is getting mental up in the YouTube chat.
Whoa.
Sorry,
Why
I was
are you
just
getting
chatting to...
excited for $5?
Hold on. I was just chatting over to YouTube. It is going crazy over on YouTube, my man. Anyway, so colonization did not mean something different then. You do realize that, right?
It did, but hold on.
Wait,
Why
what do
did
you
get
think that they
excited for
thought- what did-
$5?
what did you
Hold on.
think that-
Why are you
what-
getting excited for gifts?
Because
Why
if someone
getting
gave you
excited for gifts?
wait. Okay, so let's say you had something that was like one of your hobbies that you really, really, really love doing. Okay, do you have any hobbies?
Yeah,
What hobbies?
I like playing paddle,
Okay,
pickleball.
imagine if someone was like, "Bro, you are so inspiring at pickleball. Here's $5 for playing pickleball." Would you say thank you to them, or would you say fuck off?
I think they'd be like they're trying to bribe me or something. That's what.
What
I
were
would
they?
think.
Well, then, in the context of this, what do you think people are bribing me here? Like, what I'm saying is that I'm
Well, I don't
incredibly
know.
appreciative that
You're getting paid for a reason.
I'm
you know?
feeling incredibly appreciative of the fact that people are willing to support me financially by gifting me feather tiaras and through other means. I'm incredibly appreciative of that people are willing to donate
If it was
to
a
me.
politician, this would never work out. If you were a politician and people will be sending you gifts, it'd look very suspicious.
What's the difference
look
between a
very weird,
politician and
actually.
myself?
Well, I don't know. You guys
Politicians
both
politicians have a salary. I rely on like support from people who enjoy my content and think it's worth watching and send me, "Oh, Cosmic, thank you for the Bobo the Clownfish." Anyway,
Bro.
yeah, I know that is a
You've
moment.
lost it, mate. You've lost it.
I
You've
know, I've really
absolutely
lost the plot.
it.
I think you might just be doing a bit now, so I think I've had enough of this. But good luck with your paddle and stop oppressing the indigenous people in Australia. Okay.
Yeah, fuck you too then.
Also, thank you genuinely for the 10 gifted subs. I need to update the counter. We're nearly at 1,000, my boys. Sarah has requested to join. Is that you, Sarah Netanyahu? But as in the wife of Benjamin Netanyahu? Well, I think that this is like the thing of just like, the debates just add an element where you get to see me being a bit different to just reading off the news or like, chilling. Also, Cosmic, thank you for the incredibly kind Bobo the Clownfish. I did like it when that guy said he's lost it.
La boo boo.
Oh, Michelle, thank you for the 1 gifted. The end 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Enjoy the gifted membership. And Bayaz,
I love burgers. La boo boo.
Bayer was Bayer was right. Thank you for the $5. Hope this makes him heart. That is incredibly kind. Look, I'm gonna do a
It
little
is
heart
utterly
emoji.
ridiculous.
Jesus, you're getting crazy up in here. Do you get your information from the news? Where else am I going to get it? Where do you think? I read the news, yes. Sometimes, if I can be bothered. I normally just get my news from the chat. Some guy in the chat tells me something, such as, this guy has lost this bakery, and I believe it instantaneously. All the gifties now, I know, the guy proved it. Colonialism was good, it's actually insane. Yeah, it's also, well, I don't think that's quite his argument. It's that colonialism is good, but then Arab colonialism is bad. But colonialism was only a good thing for the short period of time where Jewish settlers said colonialism, whereas when Palestinians did it, it was different. Are we grooming Chris? Yeah, Bobo the Clownfish is grooming me. Low T beta. I mean, I've never done a testosterone test, but having a testosterone test would be something interesting, and then I could actually prove to you that I'm not low T. But isn't having thick hair a sign of low testosterone? And I mean, you know, I always think, like, you know, my arm could be bigger, but, like, you know, I try my best. F Arab colonialism. Put on burqa. You sound like one of the people that I talk to on Dota occasionally. One time I was talking to this guy and he said, give me bread and some meat, call it a sandwich. And that's kind of how you talk. So thanks for your commentary. Average man now has lower T than a grandpa. Which grandpa? I probably had to mute that. Fuck, I'm going to get demonetized now. Thanks for that. I'm unstoppable. Are you a fan of Gary's economics? Not particularly. I saw him once in person. Baby, test my testosterone. See what condition my condition is in. Preach. Shout out to everyone with low T. Yeah, if people have high T, low T, fair enough. Thanks for the heart. Jesus. Thanks for the heart. Thanks for the roses. This is so embarrassing. I need that shot. Why don't you come up and tell me why it's embarrassing? I want to be clear, man. You make Crusader edits and you have a Crusader AI profile picture. So if one of us is embarrassing, it might be you. I don't know. I don't LARP as a Crusader. If I was like LARPing as a Hezbollah fighter, you would probably think that's pretty cringe. Gary's economics isn't politically literate enough to enter the space. He's quit, hasn't he? I know some people like him. I want a cup of tea. Good for you, man. Any thoughts on what's happening in Spain? Yeah, I mean, why has Spain got Quetta? Or how do you say it? Quetta? Why has it got that? It shouldn't have that. Give it back. It's also crazy, though, just watching Morocco just behave like that. Bloody crazy. Bloody crazy. Not enough of an expert. I think we're going to cover that on my stream, actually, in a second on YouTube when I head over there. What's your favourite food? Egg. I like egg. No, I don't know what my favourite food is. Salmon curry. I really like salmon curry. That's goated. 250 girls in the UK and you're crying. I'm pretty sure there are more than 250 girls in the whole of the UK. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that there's at least like 500, but I don't know. I'll have to look into that. I know it's really what he meant. Do you live in Mommy's attic? Yeah, I live in Mommy's attic. Well, in the UK, we say mummy, not mommy, so you're wrong about that. Yeah, shout out to the 250 girls in the UK. Preach. Why are a lot of pro-Israelis paid to spread hatred towards Islam in there? Is there some form of connection? Yes. Yes, of course there is. Palestinians. They want to demonize Palestinians who are generally Muslims. That's exactly why they want to spread it. They always want to spread that kind of shit because it's good for them. In the same way that, you know, the United Arab Emirates spreads propaganda about the Muslim Brotherhood because it helps them justify their crimes in Sudan. Okay, Joe Jiu-Jitsu, you were here the other day and you had a bit of a meltdown, so I'll give you a tiny bit, but if you start melting down, you're in trouble.
Yeah, so after our last interaction, I took the liberty of checking some of the things that you said.
What did I say?
Versus what I said. You said that there was a judge that was sitting on the International Criminal Court that was Israeli.
No, I said the International Court of Justice.
Yeah, okay, that was Israeli.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. And then you read something, but you went very fast through the expression. I think is it red hawk or hawk red or something
Ham
like
hock.
that.
Ham hock.
Yeah. Okay.
Ham
So
hock.
I
Wait.
went to
What do you
read-
think it is? Ham hock. Did you say
Yeah. So it's in what you read.
ham hock?
So I went.
It's
to
ham.
read
It's ham
about
hock.
it.
It's ham hock.
Do you know what that means?
Ham hock. Yeah.
What is a ham hock?
A ham hock. I actually, to be honest, I don't really know. I'm not sure what like is different about general ham, but like I think ham hock is maybe like a big cut of ham.
No, you're like trying to make a joke out of something serious, which is very typical of you because when you don't know to seriously debate somebody, so you start laughing like a madman and doing all kind of stupid stuff.
So wait.
Let's
Sorry.
talk-
Can I wait? Can I
let's
just
talk
say? Can I just say
about
something? I'm sorry I did that. So a ham hock is sometimes called a pork knuckle, and it's the joint between the tibia and fibula and the metatarsals of the foot of a pig. So that's what a ham hock is. Ad hoc is like for this.
What is ad hoc?
For this. Ad hoc means for this. That's the term you're thinking of. Ad hoc, not ham hock.
Okay, so I went to look that up a little bit, and it turns out that an ad hoc appointee to such a committee.
We discussed this last time, by
is
the way,
not-
mate.
Yeah, but this time I'm coming with a little bit more ammunition. Okay.
Okay.
Because last time, you thought that you were very smart and very funny, and you made a whole joke out of it.
It was pretty funny, I've got to admit.
Yeah. Okay, so you can laugh again. Actually, you seem to be a very smart, intelligent young guy. Can you tell me what the difference is between a proper judge on the court bench and the judges from South Africa and from Israel?
Yeah, but,
What can they do? What can they not do?
So-
Are they appointed? Who are they appointed by?
So you do realize we discussed all of this last time, that they're appointed specifically if there is no representative on the International Court of Justice from countries involved in the case. So those people were invited to the case to give their legal opinions about what was happening in Gaza. That's why they were brought on. We discussed this already. We discussed this already.
Who appoints them?
We discussed this. It's done by the international community. I don't know which specific body, but we literally discussed this.
Okay,
Wait, Joe. We literally discussed this last time.
Yeah, but last time you had it wrong, and you have it wrong right now again. Can you check a little bit deeper?
Can you just say what you want to say? Can you just say what you want to say instead of this song and dance?
Yeah. So on a proper judge panel, the people are assigned. The judges are assigned by the court. Okay, they're not assigned by anyone. They're assigned by the court or by some kind of a body that assigns the judges to that specific court.
Okay.
The judge from Israel and from South Africa is assigned by Israel, the Israeli one, and South Africa, the South African one. And the court, the court has no say about it. Okay, they cannot say, "Oh, we do not want this judge." Okay, because it's not appointed.
We discussed this last time. I really do not know what your point is here.
Oh, okay. You want to talk about something else? I mean, I'm very fatigued from you.
You're saying that you're fatigued from me, but if you'd listened last time,
you can't admit you're wrong.
Because wait, I don't understand. I don't understand. Last time, wait. Can we just be clear? Last time, you tried to maintain that the judge was actually a defense lawyer of the state of Israel, that I was making it up, that he was not on the board of judges, and then we later showed that he most definitely was. I said that he was a judge at the ICJ. He was a judge at the ICJ.
No, a judge at the ICJ. A judge that belongs to the ICJ is appointed by the ICJ.
This is just...
Is the Israeli judge appointed by the ICJ?
Jesus Christ. I think I've had enough of this.
Answer that. Answer that and I'll drop. Answer that and I'll drop.
But the whole thing is,
the Israeli judge appointed by the ICJ.
The whole thing is, mate, is we literally had a conversation about this last time.
The Israeli judge appointed by the ICJ.
I think you need to take... Look, Joe.
Okay.
Joe.
To all the people in the comments, please check if the Israeli judge is assigned by the ICJ, which is what our nice guy here is saying. And I'm claiming that it's not appointed by the ICJ, it's appointed by Israel. The purpose of that judge there is to represent the Israeli side of things, okay? Not the South African side, not the ICJ side, only the Israeli side. That's the reason that it's there. If not, they would not need it there at all.
So
why would they need that judge there at all?
So is he a judge on the ICJ?
No, he is not a judge on the ICJ.
Was he a judge on the ICJ for that case? Was he a judge?
He's a judge sitting in this specific trial.
So there's the answer to this roundabout question that you kept on denying for some reason, and I really don't know why you're still maintaining this and why you want to argue about this. You just admitted the crux of what last time you said was categorically not the case, that he was a judge on the ICJ. And he is a judge on the ICJ. And it's also done, as someone's just pointed out, to promote impartiality. So they have a South African one and they have an Israeli one.
Yeah, why would they need a South African one and an Israeli one? Why would they need
Impartiality.
What does that mean? Explain to me.
So that the case was impartial and that it wasn't affected by biases. So they had someone from each country to represent the opinions and be like, oh no, this is what it's like actually viewing this as an Israeli judge. They do this at every International Court of Justice thing.
So in a sense, what you're saying is the Israeli judge there is to help to defend the Israeli aspect, right?
He's a judge on the ICJ. Technically not. He's meant to give his legal opinion.
He's a judge.
He's a judge to give his. I think this is one of the most
judges.
This is one of the most. You're like that final soldier who kept the Japanese soldier who was fighting World War II like 50 years later or something. This is just unhinged at this point. I've had too many beers last night, and I've had enough of you, Joe. You're mouthing off about ham hocks. You're mouthing off about this. You're mouthing off about that. I'm tired, Joe. I'm sleepy. I didn't sleep well, I fell asleep in my clothes, and I'm having to hear about judges, and I don't want to hear it anymore. You've admitted he was a judge. That's all we need, okay?
No, I never admitted that he was a judge on the ICJ. He is a judge.
I think I've had enough of this. This is
always
just
maintained that he's a judge in Israel.
Okay, Joe. Thank you for your beautiful statements and thoughts on the world.
Okay.
Thank you for your beautiful states and thoughts.
Have a good life. Be successful.
Yeah, thank you, Joe. I think we've had enough of that. Yes, I think we've had enough of that. The ANC is a running dog of jihadism. Thank you, Tony Tiger, for your beautiful thoughts on the world. Those are very interesting, and I do not give a shit about them. Okay, guys, on that note, that is enough of that. We have talked to many people. We have made many friends. Miss Madeline, as any of you know. If any of you have proof of the claim about her having a youth or being involved with a youth in any capacity, let me know about that. But aside from that, have a nice day. See you guys at some point in the future. If you want to continue watching me, I am live on YouTube and Twitch, just under my name, Chris Kunstler. If you like Twitch, though, you got to search Chris K Live. Chris, CHRIS-K Live. It almost looks like Chris Clive with a K, but go check that out. Also, JP7, thank you, my man, for the hat and moustache. I love the hat and moustache. See you later, gang. Okay, enough of that for the day. Right, that's enough of the debatey waities. I'm gonna just fix my camera, so give me a second. Video capture device. Okay. Ethan's Basement can edit a debate of me just sending Maddie to the Shadow Realm. Hey, Dad, I am certainly not a father. But thank you, everyone, for everything so far. All of the nice, kind donations and all of the love and respect you've shown me. And also all of the teaching that you've done about me towards the concept of a judge. What a judge is, I still do not know. But we will have to work that out in the near future. Right, I will also rejig my audio, and we are go time. Okay, guys, what the hell shall we do today? I have nothing really set up. I am so tired. That's actually a joke. I do have stuff to do. I spent today also wasting loads of time reading about the Soviet Union and Palestine, because in case someone brings that up on TikTok, because I cannot wait to have an opportunity to debunk that. Please never debate Maddie again or I'll go bold. Yeah, I mean, she came up and I sort of sent her to the Shadow Realm. No, this isn't Windows XP. This is Windows probably 11, whatever the most updated Windows is. Maybe it's Windows 12. I have not got any idea. Right. I can say something about USSR and Palestine, and so you can debunk me. No, I'm waiting for it to actually come up, but that would be a great way to use it, if it comes to that. Also, we hit 102 subs on Twitch, which is crazy. Thanks, guys. Thank you all over there. And if you have a Prime, feel free to throw it my way. I will debate you about Morocco being Israel, but in Africa. Maybe. Over now, time for other topics. Yes. The TikTok debate shouldn't eat into this. They might eat into it a little bit today because I'm a little tired, but we've got a couple of news stories to cover. The first one being Mr. Ethan Klein is suing iDubbbz again. So in case you guys missed it, iDubbbz posted a pretty upsetting thing. I need to search his actual name with 3 B's.
Yesterday's announcement. There's been a lot of chatter online, so
Okay, right. So, the air breather. 1951 Morocco, 260,000 Jews. 2026, 2,900 Jews. Do you think we're doing like a defending Morocco stream today? What do you want us to do? Defend Morocco? I can't play this clip because Ian has got music on, so I'll play a different one where he actually talks about it. This is a different one. Ian, no music now.
So I did want to...
Oh, I guess I'll just...
Where's Ian's video?
I do have important news. I'm going to try to be as candid about this as possible. I have my points written down in front of me. So here is the news. Here's the important news. Number 1, Ethan Klein has not dropped the lawsuit. Number 2, we've been actively dealing with it for the past couple of months. Number 3, I'm bringing it up now because now we have court dates, basically. And so, you know, it's becoming a lot more real. I'm not particularly surprised, but I am disappointed. There really isn't much else I can say.
Mag Carter, thank you for the 1,000 bits. I don't know what that is, but I still don't know, but thank you. Oh, apparently that's like $10. Wow, incredibly kind. Thank you for the... No, wait, 1,000 must be like $1? I don't know. However much it is, thank you. It's incredibly kind.
Say about the matter right now because, you know, it's legal. It's legal. So, yeah, we're going to keep pushing on. That doesn't change anything here. For the rest of the stream, I am going to be doing what we normally do. So, yeah, that is it. I'm not going to be answering any questions in chat related to it. But there you go. I didn't even make you guys wait too long.
$20 US. Wow, thank you so much. That's incredibly kind.
Congratulations.
My goat. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. That's an incredibly kind donation. But yeah, so this is posted by Kiwi Farms. Crazy one to be looking at. But no. So Ethan then had this to say. Oh, because as many of you will remember, he claimed... Actually, probably before we play this. This is what he previously said. Hi, Ian. I appreciate the thoughtful apology. It means a lot. I've instructed my attorneys to drop the lawsuit entirely. And then this is what he was saying.
Oh, I guess I'll just comment on this because I see iDubbbz said I am not dropping the lawsuit. And, well, listen, it's a bunch of technical bullshit. It's just we're in negotiating the terms of the settlement still. And that's it. I don't know. It's what it is. You know what I mean?
So is there any truth to what he's saying? Can you just straight up just drop a lawsuit? Like, can you not do that in Canada? Because he says, I've instructed my attorneys to do this.
We're negotiating the terms of the it's a meeting about the settlement. That's it. That's all it is. Right? So, whatever. Anywho,
Like, why are they doing a fucking settlement anyway? He still wants money. Negotiating the terms of the settlement is not dropping a lawsuit, it's settling a lawsuit. Didn't he literally commit that he was dropping it in full or something like that? It is kind of crazy. What is he talking about? There's no settlement. This case was dismissed with prejudice. I mean, it means he cannot revive it. I think that is not necessarily... this one wasn't dismissed with prejudice as of yet. So the Noah Samson one was dismissed with prejudice. This one, however, was not.
There's been a lot of...
So this is the one that has music on. I did want to clear up what seems like misunderstanding that some people might have. Basically, in relation to the Ethan stuff, it is our application to enforce, and if the judge does not side with us, then the lawsuit continues. With prejudice was Noah. Yeah, I think it was. And by the way, it is a smart way to funnel people over from TikTok. That's why I'm doing it. It's incredibly smart, I think. Gazans should return to Egypt and Sudan. Thank you for your dumb-ass view. I suggest you go and return to whatever hellish place you are from, and I will be banning you from the channel for your dumb-ass statement. And I want you to know that I do not like you, and I find you very annoying. I bet he wants another apology. Yep, I bet you he does want another apology. The judge has decided to drop the lawsuit and accept our application. Ethan and Ian's agreed one. When in reality, Ian caused the misunderstanding yesterday because he's too stupid to understand his own lawsuit. Then people were so quick to jump up Ethan's ass. I've got no idea. You know what? I'm going to stop talking about this. Haven't done enough fucking research. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Not enough of an expert on the legal system. Wouldn't surprise me if he did a fucking fake out, but I can't listen to this iDubbbz clip. I didn't realize there was another one out. I'm sorry, I prepped this the other day, so I didn't even see any of the updates to this, but who gives a shit? It's not the end of the world. I thought you could just drop a lawsuit with just generally. I'll see what other people are saying. I have no idea, but it would certainly be a wormy thing that Ethan Klein would do generally. But remains to be seen. So this is what Ethan had to say, actually. Probably worth doing this soon as we started it. Re iDubbbz lawsuit. My one condition for totally dropping it is so laughably small and easy that you will realize that... Oh, wait, so no. So these other... This is the problem. You see shit on the internet and you start to doubt yourself and it's just fucking nonsense. Re iDubbbz lawsuit. My one condition for totally dropping it is so laughably small and easy that you will realize that Ian and Anissa are just doing this for attention. I'm going to respect the Canadian legal system and not talk about the ongoing negotiations, but if you knew what I asked for, you would laugh at how silly it is. By the way, I forgot about this. Sorry, this is why I've been confused as well. Shows you how tired I am. The kids, this is why you should not be having too many beers. Pitiful Herr Kunstler should return to Deutschland. Well, I've never lived in Germany, so I'm good. The truth is, we already signed an agreement which they have reneged on and are trying to pull a fast one. So this hearing is for a judge to decide if they upheld their side of the agreement. They didn't. You said you were just dropping the lawsuit. Just drop the lawsuit. Holy shit. Yeah, I can't believe he's just doing this. I don't know, it's standard practice. But then you see his little supporters cooking up their strange narratives. Just dismiss it. Just dismiss it. Show some good faith for once. You didn't dismiss the Noah one. It's because Noah actually raised the money and because you lost to Denims where you thought that you had a strong case that you were guaranteed to win because legal mindset told you were going to win and your fans were telling you were going to win. But yeah. No beers for me. It's true, Chris took the beers from my fridge, ate from my candy dish and left without saying a word. It's like Christmas. You have to leave out like a little beer for me. You have to leave out a little beer for me or else I don't frickin' stream. Haven't heard Chris say repugnant in a while. I love burgers! That's crazy fresh. Thank you for subscribing at tier 1 for 3 freaking months. Wow. Oh, by the way, did you guys like the podcast? What did you think about the podcast? Hila is his Minister of the Interior, his Ben Gavir. okay, I'm going to get in trouble. No, that's okay, as long as you just don't post nonsense, like stuff about Ethan that will get me in legal trouble. So, yeah. Ian called his bluff. I don't know why he didn't just drop the lawsuit. I would just show some good faith, but it's very evident that he's not down. Do you remember when we had like a short stream where we kind of discussed a little bit the path that Ethan might be going down, this path of maybe changing a bit? And since then, he's spent his time being like, Qatar is worse than Israel. It's the number one enemy. People should shut up about APAC. And now he's just back doing lawsuits. Treadmill, now I'm listening now. He can just discontinue the lawsuit at any time. It doesn't require judicial approval. He just has to fill out a form. A settlement is not dropping the lawsuit. I know, it's just really weird. It's really weird. I just don't get why you wouldn't do it. The Serfs have a great video on Callahan. Yeah, I mean, the thing is Andrew Callahan has made some videos which I probably would have liked to have shown, but I'm not going to show an Andrew Callahan video. It's part of the thing. Like, I was considering watching the Mr. Dave thing, then some of you said it would get demonetized, and then I was also like, yeah, maybe I just shouldn't talk about the certain man who has legal cases against him. I actually thought for a second that his friend Oliver Tree dying might have at least reminded him that life is short and moved on from the lawsuit. I know, he'd be so much happier without bloody lawsuits. You can just drop a lawsuit. It's not a bobsled run. Can you not stop a bobsled run? Is that not what happens in What did we get wrong about Haram El Sharif? Doesn't the Haram El Sharif describe like the complex? No, wait, Haram Al Sharif. Does it describe the complex? I know that that's the only part I probably got wrong, or the part I'm likely to have got wrong. Cool Runnings, yeah, that's the film. That's the bobsled film with Uncle Buck actor. But yeah, I thought he might have changed, and that's exactly what Andrew Callahan is. I don't know. I just think like you probably should have a moment of reflection after all of that stuff. And also, by the way, don't forget that Ethan Klein literally once posted about the famine in Gaza. Why does no one talk about Sudan? And he's like never talked about Sudan. He just mentioned bodies from space, which is a massive oversimplification of what's going on there. You know, but what can you do? Bobsleds can't stop. Once it starts, you're on for eternity. Oh my God. Yes, Uncle Buck, John Candy. AKA John Candy. But yeah, I don't know. I think that this whole thing of just dropping the lawsuit is kind of crazy. And I don't know why he wouldn't. I feel like it makes him look incredibly bad when he said he's going to do it. Oh, God. Dahlan is apparently part of the Hamas disarmament thing, which is horrendous news. Okay. Oh, also, actually, in very, 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 very sad news, I feel like searching this will bring up things that will get me in trouble.
La Boo.
Okay, I shouldn't have searched that, but I will search it. Vincent Pastor, who plays Sal Big Pussy Bomponsaro in The Sopranos, has passed away, which is sad. I loved The Sopranos, but it was the age of 80, so it doesn't surprise me. You know what is crazy, by the way, about The Sopranos, though, is that Junior, Dominic Chianese, has outlived so much of the cast, and Chianese is nearly 100 years old. Obviously, James Gandolfini died really young, but yeah, Big Puss has passed away, and I shouldn't have searched Big Puss because it has brought up terrible things. Haram al Sharif. No, harem is only Mecca and Medina, means the only two places Muslims are allowed to enter. Al-Aqsa is not harem. You would be allowed in as a non-Muslim. But thank you for the $2. I'm still stuck on ham hoc versus ad hoc. I know, I couldn't stop thinking about it myself. But why is the Temple Mount called the Haram al-Sharif? Why is it called that then? During the Mamluk period, so this is what Wikipedia says. Obviously not the best source, but it will have sources here. Did you search Big Puss? Yes, I searched Big Puss. So it was a bad idea. It was a really bad idea. But yeah, anyway, during the Mamluk period, the wider compound of the Temple Mount began to also be known as Haram al-Sharif or Al-Haram al-Sharif, which translates as noble sanctuary. So, yeah. I've got both streams open. You can mod me. HyperJ, I think we've got enough mods on Twitch and they're calm, so you don't need to have both open. I will mod you just for the sake of modding you, if I can remember how to... Yeah, there we go. I've remembered how to do it. But I'll add you as a moderator. But yeah, you don't need to mod. Don't worry. But what did I get wrong then? Isn't Haram al-Sharif the correct term to refer to the wider compound? It's all the fish he eats, keeps you young. Yeah, but the term Haram al-Sharif is also used for Al-Aqsa. I don't think it's wrong. I think that apparently it's waned in recent decades in favor of the traditional name, the Al-Aqsa Mosque. But people do use the term. I heard Abdul Razak Takriti using it. And so, yeah, I don't think it's an incorrect term necessarily. There may be other people who say otherwise, but I'm not sure. I just hope that Michael Imperioli stay healthy so that he can play King Victor Emmanuel in a Mussolini film starring David Dastmalchian as Mussolini. I don't know who any of those people are. Wikipedia is not reliable. No, but Wikipedia will have a source on that, and I don't think... Okay, I think where Wikipedia becomes unreliable is if you're trying to decide your entire opinion about something. But if you're going there for something simple as where does the name Haram al-Sharif come from, it will have sources. So this is from Geographical Terminology in Mujir al-Din's History of Jerusalem, which is a Google book here, which you can find here, and I think that it is correct. No, I know Michael Imperioli is Christopher Moltisanti. I don't know who the other person is. David Dastmalchian. I don't know who he is. Well, Tutu, it is definitely a term that I've heard people use who are also Muslims. I don't think I'm just speaking to this as if I'm, from some kind of position, but people do use the term Haram al-Sharif. Do you know what's a more reliable source? Twitter. There's actually no mention of it on Twitter. Oh wait, this is what BM says. He uses in addition, only 2 out of 10 gates of Al-Aqsa / Haram al-Sharif will be open for Muslim worshippers. But he's Israeli, so it's kind of different. Haram pronounced means forbidden. Haram pronounced haram means... Am I just pronouncing it wrong? Haram and haram. Haram and haram. Oh gosh, I'm not even sure. You can't use reliable source in Twitter in a sentence like that. I know, it was a little joke. He was Israeli. He is not anymore. He is adamant about that. Yeah, wait, I have a book here. I've mentioned this before, but there's a guy called Uri, Jewish National Fund. Uri Davis wrote a book, and he doesn't use the term Israeli. He says, I'm a Hebrew-speaking Palestinian. Did Maddie end up rage quitting? No, she just wouldn't let me fact check her, which I think is really important because that is literally just Zionist propaganda. And I know some people, what she seeks to do is just talk over you. And so I was trying to be smart about just not letting her do that. Anyway, right. Let's talk about Quetta first. Let's do Quetta first, okay? So in case you haven't seen, there is some crazy shit going on right now between Spain and... between Spain and Morocco. I mean, it's just insane. 70 people died in this, by the way, as well.
Spain is trying to defuse the migrant crisis in its tiny territory in North Africa.
I'm going to actually stick on BBC. Did any of you see the guy just doing backstroke swimming to it?
We've never seen scenes like this before.
Tens of thousands of migrants.
Cool.
The images are stark.
Hold on, I'm just skipping because it had music. Thueta. So sorry, I apologize.
The images are stark, so are the numbers. About 60,000 migrants have crossed into Spain's North African territory of Ceuta from Morocco in the last 24 hours. That's according to Ceuta's president. At least 43 others died during the crossing. Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez described...
By the way, that number is up to, I think, 67 or 69 people. But as I said, the video of the guy swimming to Thueta is crazy. Have any of you seen this? I'm going to turn off the music, but there's just some guy filming himself with a selfie stick, just swimming over there. This guy should be given instantaneous citizenship. Instantaneous citizenship. If you're doing this kind of shit, this is once in a generation style stuff. I would give this man can come to the UK and can be our minister for swimming doing this kind of stuff. But yeah, having the selfie stick whilst also doing this is crazy. But I mean, it is really tragic. Basically, the Moroccan government, and I think Erdogan does this too, my friend told me this, there are a couple of other countries that do it. I think someone mentioned Belarus has done it as well, where basically you send in loads of refugees to use as effectively a weapon to pressure another country to act in a way that you want. And there's been a pretty, any hard right party in Europe has really used it for a massive victory.
Described the situation as an attack.
But yes, to be fair, I'm not trying to make light of the fact that people died. I just thought it was an incredible video that someone was capable of doing that, swimming with a selfie stick. But yeah.
He said all illegal migrants would be returned to Morocco as soon as possible.
By the way, a huge amount of these people are just Moroccans as well. It's really sad. My friend who's from North Africa was one of the few people I've seen posting like this. His take was literally just like, why on earth is this Spanish territory, you know? It's colonial, definitely, but yeah. Texas was also shipping migrants around. I know, and it's so disgusting using human beings in that way.
Say that more than 35,000 have returned to Morocco voluntarily so far. Over the next 10 minutes or so, we will look at why it has happened and reaction to it. But first, one of the big questions a lot of people are asking is where exactly is Ceuta? Here's a quick explanation.
Ceuta is a Spanish North African territory.
Why have they got music?
It's with Africa, both ports.
These images are of thousands of migrants across thousands just already gone.
Told us that they came here.
Okay, right, here we go.
Many have already gone, but many thousands.
CBS News reporter Aidan Stretch is in Ceuta and sent us this update.
Over the last 48 hours, 10...
No, I know that they have it from the era of Spanish colonialism. My view on the Falklands. I've spoken about this before. My initial view was like, oh, it's uninhabited, but they want to be part of the UK. They're just entirely dependent on us. I don't really like the arguments of like, oh, well, Britain is doing stuff with Israel there because, yeah, that's true. And Britain is a sucky country that loves Israel. But like giving it to Milei is not going to change that. And like the oil being stolen and sold off with Israelis. Let's be real here. Milei will do exactly that, except he'll probably be like, Israelis, you can have more money because I love you so much more than the UK did. But generally, it's just somewhere that's so far away that just doesn't figure into my life. Like when I was drunk last night, I was kind of trying to explain, like, if I was born 20 or 30 years ago, okay, Northern Ireland would actually figure into British political culture, very obviously, and for very important reasons. But the thing is Northern Ireland right now is so unimportant to the average British political experience. The fact that we still have it is just unbelievable, and it should be returned to Ireland, and Irish people should get a choice about what happens with it. And also, by the way, both the Falklands and Northern Ireland are massive financial burdens on the UK that are just hangovers of colonialism, and there is just no reason that we have them or need them, and I don't think it's just, and I don't think it's moral. And I get that we settled there first in the case of is settled there in the case of in the Falklands, but I just, yeah. It's just, yeah, it's like, I just don't think, no, I wasn't drunk on stream, I was talking to my friends about this, that like Northern Ireland is just really, really, if you can, I don't know if it makes sense as to what I'm saying, and I know there are quite a few Irish people in here, but without sounding like dismissive, it just doesn't matter to British people, to English people. It does matter to Irish people so much. Hypocrisy, the Falklands should be part of Argentina. When did I say that they shouldn't be? I just don't understand why we have something that's so far away. I just don't think it makes sense. I don't think it makes sense at all. You know, I don't think it does. And once again, I don't think the Falklands figures into our lives. And I think it was like, I think it also, when you look at it and like the patriotism stuff during the World Cup, it was sucky and it's easy to get like mixed up into it. I was in Dublin recently and went around the GPO. There is literally no reason for Northern Ireland to exist. It's just a colonial cutout. 100%. It does not matter to people. It does not matter to people here, but it does matter to Irish people. It clearly matters. And it's a hangover of a very, very, very brutal colonial occupation and policy. By the way, I haven't got like a headache or anything. I'm just tired as well. Like I have problems sleeping and drinking. It doesn't really work well. They look insane to England as 100%. And I think that that's also the thing about Northern Ireland. It's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like this thing of most people would just be like, well, you're Irish, you know, you are Irish. That's the thing. You are Irish. Rather than English, and that would be the reaction of most British nationalists. The only reason why Northern Ireland is still occupied by the UK is that it's a place for access to the European market via Ireland post-Brexit. An Irish reunification would force the UK government to admit that Brexit was a terrible failure and that it terrifies both Labour and the Tories because they'd have to sell that to reform voters. True, it was terrible. They were mad because of Algeria and the Western Sahara. Yeah, I saw that Spain's crime was treating the leader of the Polisario Front for COVID back in 2019. I hope he's doing well after experiencing that. As a long COVID sufferer for quite a long period, it's not great.
Tens of thousands of people have poured across the border from Morocco into this tiny Spanish enclave of Ceuta. You can see many of them are now lined up here in the water, ready to come home. Many of them told us that they came here in search of jobs, of money, of food. One of them told us that he wanted to play European soccer. They haven't found that here yet. Some people that
you have to let this guy in. Take a chance on him. He is going to ball out, okay? Take a chance, I swear. Is that there is still an enclave of British nationalists that will protect their identity as British violently if threatened. Britain has left a massive headache to reunify. That you are correct about, I think, is the major issue. But I think it should be a choice of like, well, I guess it's like the thing if they'd say, but we lived here for so long and whatever. But I think it's just like this thing, yeah. You also said Emiratis are homogenous. We're not. I wrote that in the comments. Maybe I was wrong. I don't know. I guess there's a lot of diversity in terms of people there historically and different people who've been there. So I guess that was my mistake. I still have Spain fever after the World Cup. I know. Drunkard live stream. I am not doing a drunk live stream. That is an awful idea.
Spoke to said that they haven't been able to find food for 24 hours and are now lining up to return home voluntarily.
So that's what's happening on the ground, but why are the migrants opting to go via this route? That's a question for our global population correspondent, Stephanie Hegarty.
Well, for one, it's a relatively...
It is so incredibly insensitive and disgusting the way that migrants are spoken about when they're literally just risking their lives for the hope of a better future in Spain.
Easy crossing compared to other ways to get from Africa to Europe. It's the only land border connecting the EU and Africa. It's a short swim from one place to the other, or a climb over several fences. And that border is heavily secured, but as we've seen, it's relatively easy when there's this number of people to overwhelm those border forces.
Also, I saw some deranged racists being like, there's no women and children there. Yeah, I think there's a pretty evident reason for that. Who do you think takes the risk, first of all? But it's also going to require a certain amount of strength, and not to say that there aren't fantastic female or children or child swimmers. There's probably a little Michael Phelps out there in every country as a child, but the thing is the majority of people who will take that journey will just generally be men because obviously they're stronger.
Well, this is the biggest mass crossing for 5 years in Ceuta, so why is it happening now? Here's Stephanie again.
So earlier this month, Spain's Supreme Court ruled that migrants who reach the Spanish enclaves of Ceuta and Melilla from Morocco by sea cannot be returned to Morocco without their being given the chance to claim asylum. So it's possible that is what inspired all of these people to cross now.
Oh, fuck, why have they got this music? Oh, they're trying to take away my monetization. Come on, fuck off. Okay, we're gonna have to find a different one because this is just giving me a headache. Al Jazeera won't have music, will they?
Italy has suspended its open border arrangement with Spain.
One thing I want to say is about Al Jazeera is it feels like every time there's a different person on there. Like, every single time.
It comes after a dramatic surge in migrant crossings from Morocco into the Spanish territory of Ceuta. 50,000 people have entered the enclave in the past 2 days, mainly by swimming around a border fence. Spain's authorities say most have now returned to Morocco, but at least 57...
I saw a man with a newborn baby. Maybe, but that would be the exception as opposed to it. And I think that the other thing about this is that I'm as I said, it's riskier for women. And also, just like being general, obviously, just men are more willing to take those risks. It's kind of the truth. Like, it always has been. Like, men are the ones who'll take the risk with the hope of eventually being able to bring their family over.
7 people died whilst trying to make the crossing. Rebecca Collard reports.
This is what the European Commission president called unacceptable. Images of migrants trying to get around the border fence that divides the Spanish territory of Ceuta from Morocco. Some try to skirt around it. Others scale the fence and try to squeeze through the wire at the top. Others take to the sea and swim around the fence.
Like, the fact that people just spend their time blaming migrants for everything wrong and portraying them as, like, evil people, when you look at just, like, the thought of climbing over a barbed wire fence for just the hope of a better life.
Some with the help of inner tubes and floating devices. Dozens of migrants have died trying since Thursday morning. Ceuta is one of 2 Spanish territories surrounded by Morocco on the North African coast.
There is a lady there, actually.
Ceuta is one of 2 Spanish territories surrounded...
There's a lady there, but I can't see many others. There's 2, actually.
Morocco on the North African coast. Migration through both has long been a source of tension. It's not clear what prompted tens of thousands to attempt the crossing now, but Spain's leader pointed to smugglers.
What lies behind this is the self-interested interpretation that the criminal networks trafficking human beings have made of a Supreme Court ruling.
The court ruling that he's referring to limits Spain's ability to send back migrants who have entered...
I'm not actually that strong a swimmer. It is crazy when I went to university, though. I'd meet people who are like, oh, I can't ride a bike. And I bet some of you in the chat will say, I can't ride a bike. And then, like, and also some people would be like, I can't swim. I probably couldn't swim that. I don't really swim very regularly at all. I don't really swim very regularly at all. So, yeah. Isn't this literally people pulling themselves up by their bootstraps? No, but what you don't understand is these people are not white. So what non-white people are not allowed to do this.
The country.
It's also part of like a beef between Spain and Morocco over the Western Sahara and Spain's support for the Polisario Front. And also, by the way, this is a country, I know some people have made this argument. I don't know how legitimate it is, and some of you can tell me, whether it's, some of you can tell me whether it's true or not. You can tell me whether it's true or not, but some people are saying that it also has to do with Israel. It also has to do with like the beefs that Spain is having with America. And you know what? It wouldn't surprise me. Weaponizing migrants, as I say, is not like some oddity that has never happened before.
Without proper documents. Migrants who make it to Ceuta can't enter mainland Spain or the rest of the EU without going through border checks. Despite that, France said it would implement tighter border controls with Spain. Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni is suspending free movement of people between Spain and Italy, and Germany's Chancellor demanded...
It's a lot more affordable to work on your own and send money back than it is to bring your wife and family over and try to provide for them where it is more expensive. So there's an economic decision there too. You know what? I have never thought about that. Thank you, LOCO, for sending me that. I can't swim and I live in Australia. I'm fucked. You are fucked. You better start.
That Morocco take back what he called illegal.
Yeah, someone said that it was done with Belarus and Poland, right? I was also, I was reading about like the Nazis, and just like the fact that there were people who fled, Jewish people who just fled and were just turned back at borders and sent to just back to Nazi Germany. It is crazy how people talk about Nazism. They were all so complicit in it. So many collaborator states get away with it. So many people who just turned back Jewish people get away with it. And today, the people who apparently care so much about the plight of Jewish people blame Palestinians for that and act as if anti-Semitism is some kind of special thing when it comes to Arabs, and that Palestinians could never live alongside Jewish people because they'd all just want to kill them. Most European countries literally, and also pretty much America too, literally fed Jewish people to the slaughter, of just sending them back when they were gonna die. And they knew what the Nazis were like. The Nazis didn't hide that they were going to torture and kill people. Everyone knew it. What's the other typo?
Illegal migrants. Spain says thousands of new arrivals have already returned voluntarily. This footage released by Spain's Interior Ministry appears to show people returning through a border crossing.
Oh, wait, you're talking about the Twitch title. TikTok debate. Ethan Klein's pathetic behaviour. Trump cancels strikes. Oh, behaviour. Oh, shit. I spelled behaviour wrong. Yeah, that shows you how quick I'm typing. Behaviour. I didn't even notice that. Thank you for noting. I haven't even changed that on... Oh, I just closed something. Hold on. I need to reopen that. No, I don't. Thank you for that.
Sinceramente, yo ni siquiera sé por qué he venido.
To be honest, I don't even know why I've come. I'm heading back now. It's as simple as that. Having eaten since lunch yesterday. Although I did bring some money with me, just for taxis and stuff, and that's it. That's all I can tell you. I haven't slept yet.
But as some were going back, more people gathered on the Moroccan side of the border, waiting for their chance to enter Europe. Rebecca Collard, Al Jazeera.
Joris Larek is an associate professor of EU and international law at Leiden University. He says it is...
There are also what seem to be videos, by the way, of the police just kind of sitting like this. Like, this is apparently, I've seen this video of just Moroccan police just stood there. Obviously, there's not much you could actually do, but it does kind of look like that guy just doesn't give two shits about what happens.
It's legally impossible for Italy to suspend Spain from Europe's open border agreement.
But yeah, so Italy, backed by Finland and Denmark, suspended the Schengen agreement, but it was almost 60,000 people entering.
As politically attractive as it may be for especially far-right parties, anti-immigration parties, to speak of suspending Spain from Schengen, it's legally impossible. So you cannot suspend unilaterally, certainly, one country from the Schengen zone. Actually, you can't even, by some kind of common accord, suspend anybody from Schengen. So it's a political catchphrase.
God, I'm not enough of an expert on Morocco, but it's Morocco's political situation is it's kind of like an authoritarian monarchy, right? Like, that's pretty much its political situation. It's allied with Israel on the basis of a trade-off over the Western Sahara, which is part of Moroccan territory, or they claim it, where they've basically been trying to remove. Is it Sahrawis? Is that how you say it? Sahrawis? But I'm not enough of an expert on it.
Behind which hides actually a much more limited measure, which is just passport checks, which are also done normally on a selective basis between member states. Now there's already several EU member states which have been implementing passport checks in Schengen borders, including my country, the Netherlands, now running for, I think, close to...
When you say Morocco is Zionist, I don't know if I'd agree just generally. The government, though, is correct, but I'd assume, much like pretty much everywhere else in the Middle East, North Africa, or Southwest Asia and North Africa, what people say about it, Sahrawis, I apologize, but that their government and their rulers might be pro-Israel, but generally the population at large isn't.
20 months. So it's not unprecedented. What makes this situation, though, doubly strange is firstly that there is no land border between Italy and Spain where you could have those passport checks. So it's really strictly ports and airports. And secondly,
that guy is fast.
We're not yet talking about the migrants that have come now to Ceuta, to the enclave, being able to leave it to mainland Europe, be that Spain, Italy, or anywhere else, because passport checks, passport controls were already part of the rules there. So it was already, those enclaves are permanently excluded from the passport-free Schengen travel area as it is, even before this situation and before the Italian government's announcement.
That just cut off very quickly. EU to hold
European
emergency
ministers
meeting.
are to hold
So let's listen to this. Okay. Morocco also played a role in demolishing relations between Algeria and the Sahel states. They managed to get Ibrahim Traoré to recognize Moroccan sovereignty over Western Sahara and supported Mali ending the 2015 treaty with Tuareg rebels. That wasn't a good idea, right? The Tuareg, along with the Islamic organization Jainim, did pretty well this year, right? In terms of smashing into them. Or like potentially collapsing it.
Emergency video talks on Tuesday after more than 50,000 people.
Morocco is part of the Abraham Accords. I know that was basically the trade-off that they got. They got recognition of the Western Sahara by Israel, or their conquest over it.
Entered Spain's North African territory of Ceuta from Morocco. The leaders of 22 EU countries had called for a meeting, citing the need to prevent further uncontrolled crossings. The majority of those who entered the territory have now voluntarily returned to Morocco, and the authorities say normality is being resumed. At least 67 people died, many of them drowned trying to swim around the border. But the political fallout is rippling across Europe. Spain's Prime Minister has denounced what he called the selfish attitude of some members of the European Union. It comes after Italy suspended the EU's border-free Schengen arrangements with Spain for a month. Barry Caffrey reports.
After the chaos of recent days, relative calm. But the consequences of a mass crossing of around 60,000 people into this small Spanish territory in North Africa are only just beginning.
What would I do if I stumbled upon Charlie Kirk's tombstone? I'd pay my fucking respects. The fuck you talking about? Informing Israel during the 1948 Palestine War. I don't know enough about Morocco. I'm not really much of a North Africa head at all, really. I just know they got a king and they bloody love him. And that they're colonizing the Western Sahara. I will read about it, actually. I will read about it, because it does, of course, interest me. But as I say today, I spent, by the way, quickly, so I spent the whole bloody day reading about, because I heard this mention of, his name is, what's his name? Mihai Pacepa, I think his name is. Mihai Pacepa, he's like a Soviet defector who basically after 9/11 just started making up that Yasser Arafat was a KGB asset, and loads of these pro-Zionist freaks like to talk about it on TikTok. By the way, he wrote multiple books about what he'd done, and then magically after 9/11 just decided that Arafat was a Soviet asset.
The migrants entered Ceuta on Thursday in the space of around 24 hours. Local officials said nearly all of them had since returned to Morocco. There's been widespread condemnation.
Yeah, trust me. I mean, I'm sure that could be happening to Tuaregs. I just don't know if I know enough. I don't know if I know enough. I don't know enough. Sorry, excuse me. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't know if I know enough. I just don't know. The historic memory law gave one side of my fam citizenship back. I still hate Spain's crime against the nation. I'm actually from, though. They should give us back the gold. Which country? Are you talking about South America or Latin American country?
from European politicians. Some criticism has involved concerns over the Schengen area, an agreement which eliminates border checks and now encompasses more than 450 million people and 29 countries in Europe. Italy suspended its Schengen agreement with Spain for a month. The country's foreign minister said the government supported legal.
By the way, I love as well this notion that, like, if Arab and Palestinian and all of the states around Israel just started normalizing relations with it, everything would be awesome and fine for them. Okay, why on earth are 60,000 Moroccans just leaving the country? I thought if you normalize relations with Israel, everything was chill and epic.
Migration while opposing irregular entry.
Il governo difende le frontiere e la sicurezza nazionale.
The government? I mean, it could be. Mihai, what did I just call him? I can't remember. Pacepa. Mihai Pacepa. He's the highest ever level Soviet defector, so quite possibly, I don't know enough about him.
Defends our borders and national security in accordance with European regulations and in line with other European Union countries.
Finland, France and Portugal have all said they were either looking at or considering border checks. Floating barriers like this one have been installed to try and prevent a repeat of Thursday's incident. And while the majority of those who crossed have now gone back to Morocco, the territory's leader says things are not yet back to normal.
Todavía en Ceuta hay varios miles de personas.
There are still several thousand people in Ceuta who must be returned, and the mood among the population of Ceuta remains marked by unease and concern.
Is Moroccan economics bad? Don't know enough about Morocco's economy. Wouldn't surprise me if it's not great. Can you all stop with the Charlie Kirk jokes? It's getting tedious now. Yeah, guys, Erica has spoken, so you should shut up about Charlie Kirk.
The number of people confirmed to have died during the rush over the border is 67. That figure is expected to rise further as specialist divers search the sea.
I don't know, just watching scenes like this and your instantaneous reaction just being, we're being invaded by evil Muslim conquerors, is crazy when you are looking at like the desperation of just hiding in a pipe just with a slight hope of a better life.
The European Union will hold emergency talks on Tuesday to discuss the migration crisis in Ceuta. 22 member states issued a joint letter calling for coordinated action, as well as for the strengthening of the EU's external borders. Barry Caffrey.
I also don't think they're specifically leaving because of the normalisation with Israel, because if there was, would you not just go to another country in North Africa that's nearby that you could probably get into slightly easier? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
BBC News.
Morocco got close to Israel in the 60s because Gamal Abdel Nasser, that's your name is Gamal Abdel Nasser, so I assume this is, please don't speak in the third person, it's weird. You are obviously Egyptian leader Gamal Abdel Nasser, who I believe died in 1970, but I could be wrong about that. It might have been earlier, might have been slightly later, but I know he died of a heart attack.
La Boubou.
Because Nasser wanted to overthrow their monarchy because of their close ties to the West. Very interesting. Large loss of life. I know, that's also just tragic. Hey, Thomas, thank you for the 2,200 Chilean pesos. The Ceuta people being used to spread hate speech. Yes, I know. And to pretend that they're just all, it's just sad and disgusting. Thank you for the donation, my man.
These are some live pictures coming to us from Ceuta. It's looking at a much quieter scene this Sunday morning. Spain clearly taking steps to make sure that a mass influx doesn't take place again. It's planning to install a 500-metre floating barrier in the sea to stop people swimming around the border fence. And the area is also being patrolled by civil guard vessels. We saw one of those vessels just a moment ago on that live shot. But looking like a quieter picture this morning. And Spain has said that most of those migrants who came...
One of you just said La Boubou and then it popped up straight after. People in Twitter are prohibited. Yeah, I know. That's the crazy thing. Thank you again for the 2,200 Chilean pesos. But I know that's the thing when they're like, we need to suspend the Schengen agreement. It's like they can't even come in the Schengen agreement. Am I wrong?
Came in from Morocco on Thursday have now voluntarily returned to Morocco. Well, Stephen Zunis is Professor of Politics and Programme Director for Middle Eastern Studies.
Thueta. But they said Sueta here, and then it's Thueta. I don't know. I'm trying my best. I'll say it however I bloody want.
He's at the University of San Francisco. He's written about Spanish-Moroccan geopolitics. He explained to me that the possible reasons behind that influx of people to Ceuta.
Primarily because Morocco appears to have allowed it. Indeed, they may have encouraged it. I mean, there were lorry loads filled with young men that were being sent right up to the frontier with the Spanish territory. Moroccan guards, which usually keep things pretty closed, open the gates. And so it appeared to be an effort to put some pressure on the Spanish prime minister.
Lenin asks what happened. Bro, I thought you were dead, so why does it matter? No, only kidding. Basically, I mean, this guy's confirming it, and we all kind of knew it anyway. Morocco trucked over a huge amount of refugees, migrants, and also just Moroccan people over to the Spanish territory of Thueta, which I keep saying the wrong way. I apologize. But they trucked them over. Oh, yeah. They trucked them over, basically, and it seems to be to put pressure. But man with beard, who's also American, is explaining this.
Presumably having something to do with his recent visit to Algiers. Of course, Algeria is a major geopolitical rival of Morocco, and they're perhaps getting a bit nervous about the thawing relations between those two countries.
And bring us also some of the broader geopolitical context of Morocco's relationship with the US and Israel and how that might have played into this.
Well, both the United States and Israel have a lot of bad feelings about Sanchez. The United States, because Spain is not...
Wait, so this is... You know what's crazy? Because I guess obviously this has been happening whilst I've been on other shit. Like, I had Friday, I wasn't feeling my best. But, yeah, like, you know, I had to research the podcast as well. But it's kind of crazy to just hear this, like, guy just saying the same thing that people were saying on Twitter that seemed kind of plausible, but I didn't know if it was true.
Paying up as much as Trump is ordering them to in terms of military spending, but particularly because the Spaniards are not allowing U.S. military bases or even their airspace to be used in any way to support the Iran war. Israel, meanwhile, of course, is quite upset at Spain's strong support for Palestinian rights. And we've had, interestingly, pundits and politicians close to these the Israeli and American governments in recent months have been pushing for the idea of Morocco seizing the two presidios. So while I haven't seen evidence to suggest that the United States and Israel pressured Morocco to do this, as some people are speculating, certainly Morocco felt somewhat emboldened.
Yeah, the person who I listened to talking about this the other day said specifically, this is Meloni trying to prove to people that she's more right-wing than others.
Given the poor relations of these two close allies of theirs to Spain to engage.
This is also a crazy feature of Trump too, which is basically, if you are allied with me and Israel, you can do anything that you want. You can do anything. Any vague historical or perhaps legitimate historical claim that you might have to a place, take it. You know, I say vague. This is, you know, a legitimate claim to this. And also in the context of, say, in the context of the Falklands, of course, there's a claim there. And they go, just take it. They're like, but what your prerequisite is, do you lick Israel's boots and do you lick Trump's boots? Seems to be you have to do both to be an actual close Trump ally. Because there's no Trump ally who doesn't just bootlick Israel, right?
In such a provocative action.
And it was interesting that Spanish Interior Minister noticeably didn't criticise Morocco yesterday.
I know also that Morocco is a colonialist expansionist state. I know what it's doing in the Western Sahara is wrong, 100%. But I think that it's the same thing of like, that doesn't really, it stands for like, oh, give it back to them because of economic arguments. Give it back to them because it's a hangover of colonialism and imperialism that is just not needed anymore. Just support like some kind of transition to something different, to some different reality.
How are they going to go about rebuilding the relationship to prevent this kind of thing happening again?
Well, things are pretty sensitive. I mean, Morocco's actually done this before. In 2021, after Spain allowed the president of Western Sahara, the former Spanish territory that Morocco largely occupies at this point and claims for their own, to visit Spain, Morocco opened the floodgates and allowed at least 10,000 Moroccans to pour into the territory. And indeed, Morocco's been holding over Spain's head a threat of opening things up even wider. You know, it's only like 18 kilometers across the strait between Morocco and Spanish territory. And they've tried to use this to extort concessions from the Spanish government on economic issues, a number of things, including Spain renouncing its long-term support for Western Sahara self-determination to back Morocco's dubious autonomy plan for the territory, which would preclude a referendum on self-determination. And of course, when you do have big migrant waves like this incident, even though it did not get to the European continent, it tends to hurt leftist center governments. It tends to embolden the far right. And so
if you're asking why, I think that whoever this guy is, he's actually given a pretty apt explanation. Yeah, he's given a pretty apt explanation as to like why it's, you know, why he's done it or why they're doing this. To be honest, the US may have just done it to hurt Sancho. I'm thinking he's Jadon Sancho. They may have just done it to hurt Jadon. Now I'm saying Jadon Sancho as in the player who used to play for England. Pedro Sanchez. That's probably it. Is being encircled by non-friendly actors. Algeria is rich in oil and natural gas. Connect the dots. I mean, plausible. Giving in to Morocco, Pedro Sanchez. Every movie for Dwayne is another more rock coat. Mate, politics, that is a bad joke, and I'm glad you've admitted to. Whatever happened to Leon Trotsky? He got an ice pick. What is it? No more heroes. Whatever happened to Leon Trotsky? He got an ice pick that made his ears burn. Whatever happened to old Lenny and Sancho Panza? I don't know who Sancho Panza is aside from that song. That song is my only reference point of who Sancho Panza was. Oh, he's from Don Quixote. I feel like I knew that. I feel like I've searched it before of who Sancho Panza was.
So the Spanish government has to tread lightly when they're dealing with Morocco.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of the answer. That the American government decided to fiddle in Moroccan politics. I mean, the US is just... It's also so funny that they're like, China may have interfered in my politics, and that's it? I don't know. Hard copies of my book finally arrived in the mail. Hamas and its 2 million hostages are available in paperback and ebook formats through Amazon and the Jewish Quarterly. The topic is timely given current talk of a phased disarmament of Hamas in Gaza. Fucking hell, I hate this guy. I really hate this guy. Jesus fucking Christ. This is not a new tactic. No, of course. The migrants are the victims. They are pawns of a chessboard bigger than they can even imagine. The king's hands are stained with the blood. 100%. 100%. The new mayor of Manchester in the United Kingdom of Israel. Oof. Oof.
Be clear.
Oh, God. Okay, right. So I just saw a funny Matthew Petty tweet. Wait. As I told Turbulence Pod, the new right has a bizarro world vision of the old leftist argument that it's not anti-Semitic to care about Palestinian rights. The guys who feel disgusted by Israel have to argue, we don't care about Palestinians, we're just anti-Semitic. Yeah, Nick Fuentes' worldview. I like that thought. We don't care about Palestinians, we're just anti-Semitic. That's Nick Fuentes' worldview. I hate the Palestinians. I still can't get over the fact that he recently described what was going on in relation to the right's support for Palestine was sticks out for Sinwar, which is one of the most insane statements I've ever heard. Getting your stick out for Sinwar. I have no idea what that's about. Well, I do, but yeah. So this was most likely America and Israel backed. It seems like it. It seems like it. Morocco has their own reasons to do it, but no doubt America and the other two had like a really, really, really happy thoughts around that. Leftists that get it, lol, because other leftists still don't get, and I expect everyone to know the menus here, but also the Polisario Front, Western Sahara. I don't know enough, and I think that is, yeah, it's I think it's, yeah, I don't think enough. No, I know that Yahya Sinwar died holding a stick. I know that happened. He threw it at the drone. I haven't forgotten that. What I do not understand about the about the comment of the sticks out for Sinwar arc is, what does that mean? What does it mean to have your sticks out for Sinwar? The woke right lol. Yep, I know. But I wouldn't take the comparison too far. Most left-wingers do earnestly think of themselves as not anti-Semitic and even philo-Semitic, while many right-wingers are being dishonest. They don't want to admit that Gaza proved they can't stomach their stated vision of the world. That is actually fucking true. That most of these people, one of the reasons that that they won't admit is they supported Israel for time. Like, they loved Israel. So, yeah. Okay, alright. So, does get Yahya Kafirs. I don't know what the guy's up to. It's supposed to be like dicks out for Harambe. Maybe? I don't know. I really don't know. It means to hold a stick respectfully. Yeah, that's what it means, yeah. Okay, right, let's check up on the Iran war. I go away for a few days and Trump says he's going to blow up Iran and then doesn't. So the same shit that's been going on for years and years and years. I love burgers! Oh, so who's getting up in there? FKA Warwick, thank you for subscribing at tier 1. It is incredibly appreciated. Thank you for supporting and making streaming over on Twitch possible. I got to head towards that goal of making 27 Great British pounds on Twitch this month so as to pay for it. But we'll achieve it, I'm sure. Thank you so much. Thank you again. Also, seeing as there's a decent amount of you here, I'll drop my gifted, I'll drop my other 10 gifted. No, drop my other 5 gifted. Show your support for Chris Kunzler membership gifting. Send 5 now. Enjoy. I'll see who hops on that shit. It is utterly ridiculous. It is utterly ridiculous. Jules, you got gifted a sub. Thomas, you got gifted a sub. Nina scrolling around. Alena, you got one. And AA9021, you got it. Yes, there you go. Enjoy. Thank you so much. If anyone has a Prime over on Twitch, feel free to throw that shit my way. But yeah, in case you missed it, we're back to this idiot BBC reporter. Don't really have a reason to describe him as an idiot, just said it. But anyway, this is what's been going on. Trump had planned a massive attack. Oh my God, I'm sure.
President Trump
Actually, I want to watch Fox News. What the hell is going on Fox News? Why is this guy doing the Kubrick stare? He actually kind of looks he kind of looks like something Leland Palmer would be doing, especially because he has the same fucking haircut as Leland Palmer from Twin Peaks. No idea why this is starting like this. They are quite the cast of evil people. Israel created their own right-wing fascist golem this time. Yeah, I mean, they love them. I mean, I mentioned this a little bit in my clavicular video, but thank you for the 2,200 Chilean pesos, Thomas. Thank you as always, and enjoy your gifted sub, my man. But yeah, he does kind of look like Leland Palmer or Jack Nicholson doing the Kubrick stare. Maybe we should combine the two and think it's Leland Palmer. Is that his name? Why when I search Leland Palmer does it bring up someone else? Like, tell me this genuinely isn't something that... Tell me this isn't just Leland Palmer. It's good to see he's got a new job, Leland Palmer, after his troubles and turbulences in the village of Twin Peaks. They actually do look really similar. That's from Fire Walk With Me as well. Oh, it looks like it's from... Actually, it doesn't look like it's from Fire Walk With Me. I have no idea. Oh my God, Drac, have you started rapping? Ad hoc ham hocks under Madlock with my wood blocks. Wow. The first brick at Stonewall. She came later, yet everyone wants to attribute the black woman as being the first of violence. I have no idea. Her legs are so bony. Well, I mean, she's just got her shins out. She actually looks like she's got quite sizable calves, so fair play to her. She's probably worked very hard on those. But what I will say is her legs do look very, very, very dark in comparison to other parts of her. But maybe that's the look she's going for. I don't know.
President Trump calling off a massive attack against Iran last night.
The commander-in-chief says the change comes amid progress with the regime.
Actually, sorry. What are you talking about? Fox News Pigeon? What are you talking about? Fox News Pigeon?
Boxing Legend Mike Tyson. Matt Dubois joins me now. Hey, Matt, does Mike Tyson know that pigeons don't lay eggs, right?
Well, actually, they do, but just not the chicken eggs that we want. Yeah, no, that was a great
with Bob.
Where do you think he thought chickens came from?
Not only for Vice President.
Lay eggs.
Well, actually, they
pigeons don't lay eggs, right?
Well, not the chicken.
Well, you heard it here, folks. Lay eggs. Fun fact: pigeons lay opposed to
headline. Listen, to be fair, Matt Dubois, who's so awesome, that does Carolina Coops, that set up the chicken coop not only for Vice President Vance but also for Rachel Campos Stuffy. We were doing a segment on getting eggs, homesteading, and my point was because we'd shown Mike Tyson, and you're here for this.
He's got his popcorn in hand, here for the show.
He was already harassing me about this headline. And so my point was that pigeons don't lay eggs like chickens do that you would eat, because no one would eat a pigeon egg.
Not if you see what they're...
Do people really never eat pigeon eggs? Because people eat like quail eggs and shit. They eat all eggs. So why would they not do that? Why would they not eat a pigeon egg? Cooked pigeon egg. Do people eat this? Can you eat pigeon eggs? This person has music on their video, but it's more liquidy than a chicken egg.
La boo-boo.
This person has certainly fried a chicken egg, a pigeon egg, and is eating it. Unsurprisingly, it tasted a lot like a chicken egg, but the texture... This person cooked and ate a chicken egg, and they said it tasted a lot like a chicken egg, but the texture was very different, much more soft. 8 out of 10, would eat again, maybe boiled next time. So there's your answer. Pho isn't known. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, they have given me information here. They've told me that you wouldn't eat a chicken egg, but you would.
They're doing here in New York City.
Cheese.
No one's eating any pigeon anything, for sure.
Did you think that pigeons were like live born? It was like live birth? They just came out with like wings?
Just enjoy.
They were flying. They just flew, and then they'd have a baby pigeon, and they would fly out. Yeah, midair.
In fairness, my blind spot, you really don't see baby pigeons anywhere on New York City streets.
Oh my god. The fact that he's trying to maintain... This is gold dust, actually. The fact that this guy is trying to maintain this notion that... like, he did actually know that pigeons don't lay eggs, but he's like, you don't see baby pigeons around. First of all, yeah, you do. They're just small pigeons that have slightly different plumage, probably. I'm not a pigeon expert. But the other part about this, okay, is that they're in the nest because they have to be fed by their mothers and fathers as well. I don't know if the father feeds them or if it fucks off. I do not know. You can eat pigeon too, lol. Yeah, I know you can eat pigeon. I know you can. But the fact he's like, you don't see baby pigeons. It's like that video of Andrew Tate going, you never see pregnant Asian ladies. And the other guy goes, yeah, you do. Like, you do see pregnant Asian ladies.
They're just the big,
ugly...
No, they're in people's windows.
Out, and they're fledged, and then they fly. And then you see them flying, and they go to the bathroom.
Listen, not that I would subscribe to such viewpoints, but there's even those that believe that pigeons aren't real.
What do you mean?
What?
There's a whole subset of people by some guy that humorously started birds aren't real.
Oh, yeah?
It's a whole thing. They have T-shirts, and they believe that the pigeons are spies.
Yeah, my grandfather used to keep pigeons. He had loads of them. Anyway, we'll return to Fox News to hear about their opinions. Stereotypical pigeons are rock doves. I thought doves look very different, or are they just pigeons that are slightly smaller with different plumage? I do not like wood pigeons. Wood pigeons are always flying about, and they go in the bird bath, and they're not meant to go in the bird bath, and they shit in the bird bath, and they make a big mess, and then the other birds can't go in the bird bath. So I have a bit of a strong opinion about pigeons.
Rebecca Castor is live in Washington with the details. Good morning, Rebecca.
Wow.
Good morning, Charlie. This was set to be one of the largest bombing campaigns against Iran to date, but now the president is saying...
Oh shit, yeah, in case you missed it, Trump announced that he was going to do like a bombing campaign. It was apparently coordinated with Israel, that they were going to bomb the hell out of Iran. But yeah, it's not happened.
Signaling a peace deal could be close. He wrote on Truth Social, the USA is locked and loaded and ready to go against Iran. Despite this, we have just been asked by Iran and other Middle Eastern countries to hold off any attack and that the perimeters of a deal has been agreed to. This would include the immediate, complete, and total opening of the Hormuz Strait and an end to Iran's nuclear threat. I have agreed to cancel the attack, subject to...
Right, so this isn't true. Iran is not opening the Strait of Hormuz. It's definitely not opening it on the terms that the Americans want them to. Just absolutely is not happening, but it remains to be seen.
Being able to rapidly make a deal. According to Axios, one of those Middle Eastern allies who asked President Trump to hold off on further strikes was the Saudi Crown Prince. The White House confirmed they spoke on the phone yesterday. And this comes after the U.S. and Saudi Arabia launched joint strikes against Iranian militias in Iraq last week. But now the Saudis and other partners in the region are pushing the U.S. and Iraq.
I think also the other thing about why they cancelled it is because Saudi Arabia is like, we will bear the brunt of this and you have no guarantee that it'll displace the Islamic Republic. We are going to have to work out a solution. You have failed. All you are going to do is just cripple the global economy. But yeah, I didn't know. I mean, I do worry because I think that they're not going to get a deal. I think this is more just saying they'll get a deal when they're not going to get a deal, by the way. The situation will still not be resolved because Trump is not going to be able to make Iran surrender. And yeah, it's just incoherent. By the way, I saw a fantastic tweet. I can't remember who it was by. Hold on, let me get it up. Karim Shaheen. Iran apparently said, we do not understand what Trump is doing. And then this person responded, Khamenei was confused because he doesn't speak English. Arakchi was confused because he does. In the sense of like, Khamenei just had no idea what the US was doing because he doesn't speak English. But Arakchi, I don't know why I'm explaining the joke. It's a good joke. All of this is incoherent babble. Remains to be seen what's going to happen after this. What you just said, Chris, is what's reflected in our state-sponsored media, but without the world failed. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? What did I say? As in that Saudis bear the brunt of Trump's attacks that don't even know if they'll work. By the way, that's why none of these countries, apart from the UAE, have actually joined. Although the UAE and Iran have clearly really cooled their their tensions off, because the UAE has kind of accepted that Iran is here to stay and the Islamic Republic also is in whatever form. And that they've come out of this looking incredibly fucking strong, and hosting US bases offers you nothing.
Iran to de-escalate. In an interview with Laura last night, Secretary of State Marco Rubio says it's because of President Trump that Tehran can no longer avoid consequences and may be ready to fold.
I don't think the Iranian regime has ever faced a president like President Trump, which is someone that actually takes action. You know, they got used to for 20 or 30 years, not just the U.S., but the broader world, allowing them to get away with things like lying, breaking deals, tricking people into agreements and so forth. The regime has to change. Their view is they don't...
By the way, Trump broke the JCPOA, okay? Trump broke the JCPOA, not Iran. Kind of incredible.
They want to just govern Iran. They want to govern the region. They want to export their revolution. That does have to change. And the only way you're...
It's also so funny. I love the term export the revolution, because all the US has done since it came to power is export the revolution to other countries, aka force them to live under American supremacist governments, or governments that only the governments that are more interested in their relationship with America than they are the good of their own people.
We're going to change that is if you make the price of it too high for them to be able to pay.
Qatari mediators held separate talks with U.S., Iranian, and Omani officials yesterday on reopening the strait. Axios reports those talks made progress. Charlie, Laura, and Griff, back to you.
All right, Rebecca.
Thank you, Rebecca. Overnight, President Trump pausing the strikes on Iran, revealing a rough outline for a deal.
By the way, as I said, I've been I was reading Kershaw's book the other day, and I was thinking, you know, the Sudetenland, right? So Trump's decision to take the Sudetenland was seen, Hitler's decision to take the Sudetenland and to go and destroy Czechoslovakia was kind of seen as mental by the people around him. But the reason that he did it in part, and it really was his decision, the reason he did it was because he kept riding high off like domestic policy not going that well, but foreign policy going insanely well. I mean, the Anschluss was decided last minute, but it was incredibly popular and it worked out very simply. You then also had, which one was it in 36? Not the Anschluss. I've forgotten what happened in 36, but he had a couple of wins, okay? Trump has this win in... And Trump scores this victory in Venezuela, by the way, which had bipartisan popularity in terms of actual people in the government who are like, Maduro's a dictator and he had to go, y'all. We have to get rid of Maduro because of freedom and stuff. And then libs love it because they like to pretend that leftists supported this like brutal, evil dictator, even though largely a lot of people are just like, yeah, it's wrong to go and invade countries and fuck around with them when you've never done it well or successfully or with any regard for the people there. But anyway, he rode very, 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 very high off this. And then he made the decision to basically, you know, do Iran, which was fucking disastrous and what sent him down the path of war. There's a reason Hitler died in a bunker on his own, well, not on his own, but in a bunker, and there's a reason that Napoleon died with nothing. All of these people get too much hubris off their victories and just start to go further and further, because you start to realize the desire very often is not to actually have power, but to just keep on attaining power, because attaining it and the satisfaction of like your desire is way more satisfying than actually having it. Yeah, you are just talking about birds. Anschluss is 38. Yeah, sorry. Something happened in 1936 that I can't remember. I'm trying to think of the other major foreign policy victory he had. To withdraw from the League of Nations? Or is it to abandon the... when did Hitler leave? He intervened in the Spanish Civil War as well, but it didn't go so well against the Versailles Treaty. That's it. The Rhineland. Militarization of the Rhineland. That's it. Thank you. Of the Rhineland. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's a remilitarization of the Rhineland in 36. That's what I'm looking for. Thank you. That's the specific one. Yeah, Marx loving Darwin is actually kind of dumb. Especially because I feel like Darwin's theory of evolution, like when you look at humanity, it's very obvious that each of us has individual skills, and when you live in a society, we can all work together. Sorry, I don't know why I'm getting a message about Hull City reaching an agreement to sign Colorado Rapids. Lucas Harrington. Who is that? No, Kristallnacht is later in 1938. British wanted Napoleon to die that way. Yes. I'm a bird enthusiast. Don't worry, it's fine. My favourite is the wild turkey. I like finding their feathers on walks. Tell me 3 facts about Sri Lanka. Go. What? What do you want me to tell you things about Sri Lanka for? They genocided Tamils. Well, what do you want me to tell you about Sri Lanka? They have a curry chain in the UK called the Coconut Tree. When I say they, I mean Sri Lankan people, not the Sri Lankan government, I assume. Also, MIA is Tamil, so that's a Sri Lanka fact. So I don't know what you want me to tell you.
President writing the immediate, complete, and total opening of the Strait of Hormuz and an end to Iran's nuclear threat. I have agreed for the future benefit of the world and likewise the survival of a successful and prosperous Iran to cancel the attack, subject to being able to rapidly make a deal. Joining us now is former National Security Council member, retired Vice Admiral Robert Harward. Thank you for joining us this morning. So
this guy looks crazy.
Where do you think things stand right now? Obviously, we have heard, we've seen President Trump both bombing Iran and then holding out hope that we might get a deal. Where are you on that?
Well, a couple things at play here. First, the politics.
Land invasion upcoming soon. I don't know. I think Trump knows that he doesn't have the backing of the Middle Eastern governments. The governments of the MENA region. I don't think he really does. He only has like a couple like UAE and a few others. But yeah, holy shit, there is no light in there at his eyes. Yep. There's not much going on behind those eyes.
You can see how important the coalition is. This Saudi wanted a pause, and so we're going to accommodate. They are in the fight with us and reinforces why that partnership is so important. And again, time. The president can go back to strikes at any time he wants, but he's got.
By the way, this guy seems like a reanimated corpse I literally sent out to just read whatever the Trump administration has told him to say, which is slop. Just utter slop and rubbish.
How to keep the pressure on. At this point, the financial pressure without any revenue going into the country adds to the pressure on the regime, and that's constant, regardless if he strikes or not. So time is on his hand, and as I said, he can strike again whenever he wants.
Well, obviously, Iran also realizes that there are, time. Obviously, they view it as time being on their side. We have elections coming up, and obviously, Americans are feeling similar squeeze at the gas pump. And so they're sort of playing this tit for tat game, sort of bumping the president along. Do you think that
Deadpool without the mask
term, though, do they understand that President Trump probably is not as concerned about the midterms as a normal president might be, and that he is really willing to go back to kinetic strikes?
The Iranian strategy hasn't changed at all. They're still playing the time game, as you mentioned. They're hoping political will dissipate, that the threat of the midterms causes the president to change his strategy, but I think they're seeing just the opposite. Just as the president,
he is very strange looking. Shall I put on a trigger warning in the title because he's unnerving, this gent? He is an unnerving chappy. Yeah.
Has realized they're not going to negotiate. These going to have to continue maintain pressure till they agree and capitulate, acknowledge that the straits are an international waterway and they're not going to threaten. And then on top of that, hand over nuclear materials. So the president has been consistent with that. The Iranians have been consistent. And so the only response has to be additional pressure and putting as much pressure on the regime.
Okay, this guy is so boring. So boring. Enough of him. Khalas. He's old. He's old. It will happen to all of us. You will not, yeah, but the thing is what doesn't have to happen to you is you don't have to be really evil. This is your face on evil as your skincare. What about the blood of the minorities that you kill? I think that's also contributed to his. And also, Thomas, thank you for the 2,200 Chilean pesos. You're going crazy up in this business. Thank you for supporting this channel, as always, my man, and great to hear from you. Okay. Also, by the way, did you see the Trump administration admitted that they destroyed the ICC to protect fucking Netanyahu? He looks like Patches from Dark Souls. Yeah, Sophie, the only problem with that is, a real Dark Souls gamer would say which game they mean, because he's in Elden Ring. He's in everything, isn't he? No, I'm joking. Which version of Patches does he look like, do you think? Look like most. Dark Souls 1 Patches when he kicks you down the hole? Or in Elden Ring when he cries when you beat him? I don't know. There's a lot of choices. Draugamaxing, 100%. How would you even Draugamax? Go sleep in a crypt? Where the dwarven artifacts are? Dark Souls 1 Patches. Strange how Hormuz was an international waterway until the US launched an imperial illegal war. I added imperial, but it's true. It is crazy. I like how the Iran war's objectives have switched from deal with Iran's nuclear capabilities to deal with Iran's nuclear capabilities, to destroy, to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, to collapse the regime. It is wonderful. Can I ask what your relationship is like with your parents? I feel like, I can see that that's the first time you've ever chatted, Bamboo Sundays. I just want to say, for a first-time chat when you're communicating with a streamer, I feel like asking what your relationship with your parents is an interesting one. But my relationship with my parents is pretty good. Thank you for asking.
So just a couple points that we all know. We've followed in the news, obviously, the events in the Middle East, and others here can talk about that. Not that they're not important, but there's some other issues happening around the world, Mr. President.
Iran has illegal Dwemer technology. We must seize it. They got like those big automatons. Dwemer automaton? They got one of the big tall Dwemer automatons, which you would not want to get involved with. Are they like balls? Oh my god, these things are terrifying. Imagine this. Imagine this.
That you've shown great leadership in that have not gotten nearly as much attention, I think they deserve to mention today. The first is the International Criminal Court is an illegitimate international organization that, frankly, illegitimate. They've made themselves illegitimate because they claim that even if you're not a member of that court, they can come after you. And what that literally means in the future is that American servicemen, political leaders, and others could find themselves under indictment by this International Criminal Court. And if you want to know a little bit about it, Jack Smith used to work there. These are the people that think they can go out and basically indict any world leader and haul them into The Hague. So,
by the way, it is insane to say that the International Criminal Court is acting badly because it's daring to indict people from, it's daring to indict people who've committed war crimes.
we tried to get them to reform and listen to us. They wouldn't do it. They're very arrogant. We've now begun an effort to really try to bring that court to heel.
By the way, there's no information that they're after me. It could happen. But just so you know, because she's talking about it, I'm saying that means that maybe he's not trying to defend me. He is trying to defend Bibi and various other people. But
God, wait. Look at Rubio's face. Look at Rubio's face there. Look how quickly it goes from smile to frown. There is a growing problem, by the way, with Trump that is going to keep on getting worse, okay? The thing that's going to end up getting worse with Trump is that he keeps on saying stuff that he should not say. There is absolutely no way that he should be able to say this crap. There is absolutely no way that he should openly be stating, they're not coming after me, this or the international community. This is to protect Netanyahu. That is just a crazy statement to make. This is, by the way, if you ever want evidence that the US just does stuff for Israel, this is it. Like, we all know it. We don't really need evidence, but this is this guy literally just saying we're doing it for Israel.
He is trying to defend Bibi and various other people, but there are many.
But look at little Marco going to frowning.
People that shouldn't be looked at that way, but there is no indication that I'm one of them at this moment.
Well, and I actually think the people who are in biggest danger in our system are servicemen, people in uniform.
Like, I like how Marco Rubio adds in this shit about Trump just saying, like after Trump just saying, yeah, there's no threat to me. Of like, oh yeah, it's really our servicemen who are under threat. I'm really worried about the servicemen. Okay, bro, are you really worried about servicemen?
They'll try to go out for the rest of their lives, will not be able to travel anywhere in the world with their families because they could be arrested on one of these. Imagine, you're a soldier, you fought in a war, and 20 years later they try to come grab you. So this is a big problem.
So what? If you committed a murder and then 20 years later you got caught for it, who would care? Who gives a shit?
So we've had dozens of countries already join us in this effort. Since we started 2 weeks ago, 5 countries have already quit the ICC and notified them that they're leaving.
Which countries is that? Venezuela, I know, is one. Countries leaving ICC. Burkina Faso? Okay. Mali and Niger. Venezuela, Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger. All... By the way, you know when people defend... I actually want to do... I think Isaac and I are going to do a Thomas Sankara episode. The Ibrahim Traore propaganda, my God. Insane. Like... The funny thing is their reason for leaving the International Criminal Court is legitimate in the sense of it's like, yeah, we're being persecuted as southern states. That is true. But these people here literally like that. Their problem with the International Criminal Court, and the reason that all of these people are leaving, is because of these guys. Chad might have left too.
And we think there'll be more.
Ibrahim is my fucking goat. I really don't think you should be saying Ibrahim Traore is a goat. I need to do a bit more research on this. Is Russia part of the ICC? No, I don't think so, especially seeing as their president is wanted by the ICC. But yeah, like, all of these countries who are leaving will say, oh, we're doing it because the global south gets persecuted in the International Criminal Court. Which, as I say, absolutely true. Like Lindsey Graham is alleged to have said, the International Criminal Court is only for Africans and thugs like Putin, not my boy Bibi. I was giving him the bubble wand treatment, and he was a good man. He should never be persecuted by the International Criminal Court. Anyway, so these people who are saying, yeah, we're leaving because of persecution of the global south, is just insane. It is just straight up insane. Bamboo Sundays, why do you keep asking me things about my parents? I really don't know what to say. No, my parents hate me and they hate my politics and they shoot me and they give me corporal punishment, capital punishment, all of this kind of stuff. Lindsay, is that you? I'm back alive and living through my sister Darlene. I love my little sister Darlene. Thank you for the €5. Don't you think that Trump is high all the time? His behavior is exactly me when I'm high. 21. Thank you for 421. Sorry, excuse me. Thank you for the €5. Thank you for supporting the channel, my man. I mean, I think that they got. I think that they've got Trump jacked up on some crazy shit. So I think quite possibly, yeah, they've got him jacked up on some crazy shit. But I think dementia plays a bigger role in this, because he had a crazy clip as well the other day. A crazy clip. Oh, also, by the way, I fucking love this.
You know,
I can't play it. Do any of you know the clip of I don't care for John Kiriakou that much, okay? But great John Kiriakou clip is the one where he's like, the guy, he's like pretending to be some guy. And he's like, oh, I don't care if you send me to Guantanamo. And he goes, Guantanamo? I'm not sending you to Guantanamo. I'm sending you to Jerusalem. This one's the goated one.
Corrupt governor of Minnesota. They like to say, oh, it was Iran. Iran should be so lucky. Iran's got bigger problems than worrying about Minnesota.
So basically, there was this claim that Iran had targeted the US's water infrastructure, and he just went, Iran has bigger problems than Minnesota. Absolutely not what he should have been saying. He would have been told, no, the Iranian hackers... the Iranian... Wait, we'll watch the full clip in context, because he should not have said this. See, a lot of people who have problems with their parents with your kind of opinions on politics. Bamboo Sunday, it just feels weird to go and ask someone about their opinions of my parents and what my parents' opinions are of my politics, okay? When you don't like my politics. It's weird. It's weird to say the least. But yeah, they hit me with a belt quite regularly, and they also shoot me sometimes. They waterboard me. They make me take hot and cold showers quickly, one after the other. They hit me with a shoe, specifically a gym shoe. They hit me with sandals whenever I say something like Free Palestine. Hey, Chris, what's your relationship with your great uncle on your mother's side? Fantastical. My relationship with my great uncle on my mother's side is, yeah, he was a great man. But no, my parents, my parents whack me with a shoe. John admitted the CIA spent years torturing a Canadian professor going to Tunisia to visit his family because they thought he was a terrorist, and they released him after years with no proof. I know, it's fucking crazy.
Rule out that Iran is behind that cyber attack?
Hold on. Let me turn this up. Bamboo Sunday with the Camfoy test. Thank you for the 2200, Thomas. Thank you. I don't know what this guy is up to. Jimothy Shue. Yeah, I know.
Minnesota is behind it. You know who's behind it? Minnesota, because they're grossly incompetent. I think the governor's behind it. I don't think there was an Iranian cyber attack. I think that Minnesota ought to get its act together. It's one of the worst run states. JD will tell you. He found tremendous corruption in Minnesota.
Yes, sir.
And by the way, just gave me a report. Massive future things having.
So, the US government and the Washington Post have been cooking up this narrative that Trump is apparently doing that Iran was doing cyber attacks on Minnesota. And it's just crazy. Bamboo Sundays, this is crazy. In order for me to understand your opinions, I wanted to know what your parental background was. My opinions are in basic human decency, but my parents hit me with a gym shoe, so I don't know what to say to you. Crazy that he's just doing that. I don't know. It does make it kind of obvious that a lot of stuff that Iran is apparently doing in the US is just made up, fictitious dribble. Just made up rubbish and crap. Utter crap. My parents killed me and I turned out alright. By the way, a lot of people watching over on Twitch, you gotta throw that Prime. I'm sorry. It has to happen. All of you. Unsub from whoever you've used your Prime on previously and use it for the Chris Kunzler Burger Ice, which will be eternal if you gift me at least a Prime. My parents said my feet stink and I don't love Jesus. It's a common problem. What is your polycules policy on left Rothbardianisms? Mate, those are words you should not be saying, okay? Get your nose out of the history book and get yourself a boyfriend like mine, Mr. Overzealous. That's the problem with people like you. Israel gonna false flag the US. Israel's gonna steal Minnesota's water and then Trump's gonna be like, Iran should be so lucky. I can't understand your politics until I've understood whether you've synthesized your psyche with your shadow self. So effectively, when I was born in the year 2000. 25. In 2019, I began attending Exeter University. And then after that, I love burgers! After that, I began attending Exeter University again for a master's degree. And then that's my life. That's all that's ever happened. Basically, I wasn't sentient from the age of, 0 to 18. Anyway, Jurger08 Larson. I don't have a Prime to give. Oh, well, my man, thank you for subscribing it for tier 1 for 3 months. You don't see that that is not the kind of stuff that they teach you at school. But thank you so much, my man. That's incredibly kind. I know. It's crazy that I was born in 2000. Yeah, I feel kind of old. I'm 25. When someone tells me they like ice cream, I cannot understand it until they tell me their parental relationship. To be fair, if someone's like, oh yeah, I like mint ice cream, you know that something funny is going on behind that. You know something bad is happening in the home. Get that person gone. Sorry, I shouldn't be making light. Parental abuse is a very horrible thing. But yeah. Israel killed today so far 18 people in Gaza. Sorry, I'm just looking at your message, and this was not meant as another thing. Someone just said, I'm 67 years old, as in 6'7". Very clever. Thank you, Jules, for that insightful commentary. But sorry, yeah. I know, I saw a video, it was Hind Khoury talking about it, and she was saying, well, actually, she wasn't saying it. 152 Palestinians were killed in July. It's just fucking insane. Also, we have a report from Barak Ravid just talking about this kind of stuff. Iran-related stuff. And Archie what's crazy is Trump's skin. This is why you shouldn't call Israel white, okay? Because Archie looks like, you know, a person who's in an Agatha meme, and Trump is fucking orange, which is not even like it's something that occurs naturally. But you should never judge a book by its cover. That's all I'm going to say. I am 25. I am 5. Yes, I'm 25. I'll be 55 this month. Takes all sorts. Yagaro08 Larson, thank you so much, my man, for the sub-prime. But happy birthday to you. Not the prime, the tier 1 subscription. Thank you so much, my man. I really wish I got cake today. I really wanted a cake. There's a place near me that does cake, and I really, really, really like cake, but I didn't get it. And I didn't eat breakfast either, so I just feel kind of terrible right now. And then I ate a really big greasy pizza, which just wasn't a good idea. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just kind of talking about things. Hello, Silent Scythe. How you doing? Hope we're all good. Okay. Barack Ravid, the man of the moment, reports that Trump dropped the strikes after Iranian Foreign Minister Araghchi agreed to a deal in which all traffic entering the Persian Gulf would be forced to use the Iranian route through the Strait of Hormuz, and all traffic exiting the Gulf would go through the Omani route. In the meantime, Iranian state media is denying any progress was made in the talks, and even Ravid's report notes that the mediators have so far been unable to get any assurances that the people who actually hold power in Iran will agree to such a deal. Oh my god. This is actually fucking insane as well, by the way. Just listening to this of like some report of progress being made, but then Barack Ravid's like, yeah, there's no agreed deal. Also, by the way, I don't think they called it off because of an Archie. I think Iran are ready to go, but I don't know. Maybe Trump wants just a way out, and he was like, Archie, call me. Also, by the way, I was in a taxi last night, and guess what? I was talking to the guy. A white boy spoke a little bit of Persian. And he was so nice that I gave him a big Uber tip. He was a good man. Good man. With a lot of respect for my Farsi, so I was dropping it like crazy. Did they even have a plan in the first place, you reckon? Yeah, I mean, their plan was to collapse the Israeli... the Iranian government. That was their plan, to overthrow the Iranian government. When it didn't work instantaneously, they had no idea of what to do. If you believe in basic human decency, don't you think cheap insults are not in keeping with that philosophy? No. I'm streaming. I'm playing a cheeky character. In real life, I'm really respectful if you ever meet me, except if I don't like you, and then I'm quite rude. But as some of you probably would have guessed. But this is like I'm streaming. I'm entertaining people, and also like anyone who watches me would say that I probably try and institute like respect and decency even for people I don't like. Like, I'm not being bigoted. I'm not being racist. I'm not being just saying nasty shit about people's weight, things they can't change. Well, you can change your weight, but it's difficult for people, and it's not as easy as you imagine. But yeah, these are expensive insults. The way I'm moving, got rocks up on my wrist and shit. Anyway, sorry. Even if they do agree, it's worth stating clearly what the deal is. An official surrender from the White House, giving full control of the Strait of Hormuz to Iran. Having full control over one direction of traffic means having full control over both directions, especially when you control the entry to the Gulf. There is zero mention about anything concerning the nuclear program, and there won't be any agreement on the nuclear program or any other issue with Iran if this deal is actually signed, because the US will not have any leverage it could possibly hold over Iran. If Trump is truly considering a deal like this, he's completely given up. But you are. Bamboo Sunday, I'm gonna be real, you are being a bit whiny, and I think you gotta cool it. I think you gotta cool it with the whining. Fake meat is great. Fake cheese tastes ass. I've not really had much fake cheese. Fake meat is pretty good, though. Yeah, you're right. Art thou not entertained, chat? Preach. And parties, my man. I didn't go to a party last night. I just went to a pub, and there were people there that I knew. I sit in the corner and have 10 pints on my own and catch a vibe. Can you theoretically... Oh, God. Jules, I almost banned you for that, and I'm not reading that out. That is grotesque. I'm vegetarian, but dairy is either shit or expensive in China, so I'm mostly vegan. Oh, wow. Yeah, I love fake mink. Yeah. Chris, call him Bamboo Sunday. Yeah, mate, everyone's calling you Bamboo Sunday over in the chat, mate. They're calling you Bamboo. They've created a slander name for you. Bamboo Stink Day, mate. That's what everyone's calling you. That is not a cheap insult. That is cooked up by some of the strongest minds in the world. The Chris Kunzler YouTube chat. They're calling you Bamboo Stink Day. Violife fake cheese is pretty decent. I actually preferred Impossible Whoppers. I will say, them not having... that being BDS sucks. If you ever go to Bristol Airport, you are not having anything there. It sucks. You can't have anything at Bristol Airport because there's like, oh, do you want a shit sandwich or do you want a Burger King? I want a Burger King, okay? I really want a Burger King, but I can't get it. Same with McDonald's. I want McDonald's, not because I like think about it or because it's hard not to break BDS. I accept it. But it's in those moments where you're in somewhere and the only thing that they have is like just something... Yeah, just something shit, like, they only have Mackey's, or you can go and eat at, like, the worst place to eat in the world. God. It is tough, but, you know, it's a small sacrifice. Like, I don't drink Coke, and Coke was a big one to give up. So much of it's like, oh, okay, it's okay, but some stuff's hard, but yeah. What was I gonna search? I don't think Bamboo Stink Day actually appreciated that comment. Love a 6 a.m. pint in the airport on the way to Spain. I know. Mackey's is the easiest boycott. Their food is shit. I know, but God, sometimes I'm just like, God, I would prefer this to just eating the worst kebab ever. All my vegans know that Taco Bell is goated. They have one in Exeter, but I never went. Order 10 pence, but my mum does keep buying Coke. I don't drink much Coke, but if I did have a pizza, and it's always hard if it's at home. Yeah, I get that. I get that. Bootleg soda is goated. Yeah, little stuff is good. The little fake Coke Zero's pretty good. Oh, God. A&W not being boycotted is goated. Is goated. I used to occasionally have the a Coke Zero, but I never drink full fat drinks anymore. I love sugar way too much, and it's like, okay, I can eliminate something from my life. Yeah, I can just eliminate that. I'm not drinking breast milk. Bye. That is your prerogative. That is your prerogative. Bar cola. Ooh. Ooh. I'm chugging that bootleg Fanta Twist. Yummy, yummy. Moving crazy with it. I heard Jordan Peterson was involved in the milking farms in China. Yeah, we need to get a report on that as well. Media Mushroom, can you confirm anything about the milking farms in China? I assume the answer is yes. Thanks for confirming. I know you didn't say anything, and you probably haven't even heard me say this because there's a delay, which is crazy. You think I'm live, but I'm actually like moving my hands right now, and none of you will realize that that's occurring until a later point. But you know, I'm moving crazy with it. But you know, I've decided what you say. Very often I do that, by the way. You guys think I'm reading your comments, but I'm actually so clever that I know what you're gonna say. See you later, Jules. Thanks for being on. Seemed promising early on, but I think that changed super quick. Yeah, I think it may have just been a bit of propaganda, I'll be honest. Pizza is too good, but I always regret it. Yeah, I mean, I don't if you get like a little cheap one. Jordan B. Peterson said, not funny. The Erica Kirk guy, do you just run, well, lady, of course, do you run multiple accounts of just like Jordan Peterson, Erica Kirk that just watch my stream in case either of them are mentioned? What am I going to say then, Chris? Well, I already knew you were going to say that. You're probably going to say something like, Chris, you're so tough and strong, and if there was any streamer who was likely to be in a gang, it would be you. And that's probably what you're going to say next. Anything that annoys Macron. Okay, right. Do I have anything else to do? I'll stream for like 10 more minutes. I'm sorry, I'm just a bit fucking tired, and I've done quite a bit today for how silly and bad I am. Who's asking about Jordan? As in the country Jordan? No farm is ethical. No. I still can't believe the day I landed in the UK, Taco Bell got Diet Baja, and the heat wave went away. The heat wave's not been here for a little while now. It's apparently going to be. Oh fuck! It's 30 degrees tomorrow.
Welcome to the Burger Reich.
Oh my fucking god! 10 months. Melat Kiros, Marcus, thank you for the 10 months with another cheeky comment. Melat Kiros of the DSA, my greatest concern right now is the state of Israel is losing control, is losing support across the political spectrum. Are you kidding? Is that actually a real quote?
Or anywhere in the region, been to Israel or anywhere in the region, would it change your mind or open your perspectives if you did?
I'm sure it would, right? Part of the work that we've been doing here as well is having conversations with, the Jewish community, specifically the Zionist Jewish community, to, better understand different perspectives, different positions, different experiences. Again, my values have always been rooted in protecting dignity and safety for every single person, especially as it relates to these inalienable things about our religion or ethnicity or our culture. And my greatest concern right now is that the state of Israel is losing support all across the political spectrum here in the US. And I believe that
Why does that concern you?
I think we're leaving a vacuum on the left and the progressive wing to speak to this criticism in a way that is in line with our values.
Okay, I mean, bit of a strange comment, but I'm glad she does already come in with a clarification.
To where people like Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, who are raging anti-Semites and white supremacists, and
I mean, there is quite a lot of truth to this.
Christian nationalists.
As in, there is quite a lot of truth to what she's saying about, like, what's happening. I don't think I'd ever phrase this as my greatest concern, but it certainly is a concerning thing that, this kind of shit is happening, that these people are being pushed on the internet.
Are pretending to care about Palestinian safety when really it's just masking their overt hatred for Jewish people.
You're singing my song.
And if we are not presenting our vision of what we believe in with our democratic values that extends not just to the Palestinian people, but to the Israeli people and to the Jewish people, that land has a distinctly Jewish character, a distinctly Christian character, a distinctly Muslim character.
Yeah.
It's a land that has seen blood.
Okay, that's like, that is of course true. When you started saying that land has a distinctly Jewish character, I thought she was going to go into like the whole indigenous thing. That is undeniable, by the way. Of course, there's Jewish history in Palestine. No one ever denies that.
Yippee!
Yogore Lawson, thank you for the gifted sub, and thank you for giving it to Dingafear. Dingafear, it kind of sounds like,
La Boo Boo.
Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Sauron is being unfairly maligned. My greatest concern is the treatment of Sauron.
Bloodshed for centuries. And we, I think, are doing a disservice to the...
Now, obviously, Jewish people do have, like, a history in Palestine. Of course they do. Of course they do.
People of that region by not offering our progressive vision in a way that isn't immediately swatted down as, bigoted or anti-Semitic. And that's going to require a lot of conversations, a lot of hard conversations. There will be things that we learn, there will be missteps and mistakes made. But as long as we're continuing that conversation, we are at the very least presenting an actual vision in line with our values that can combat and hopefully silence a lot of the anti-Semitism that's coming from the right. Because we're leaving that vacuum wide open right now if we are afraid to have these conversations.
One of the things...
Okay, let's have a look at her long tweet clarifying this and see if she does any better with this. And any better with this. Yeah, but yeah, of course. There is like a, you know, when I first heard that of like the distinctly Jewish character, I was like, oh my god, she's gonna go into some stuff. But like, you know, obviously this is like the cradle of the Abrahamic faith, so of course Jewish people have a link to said land. But that link does not justify going in and replacing Palestinians, nor is it even justification for settler colonialism that was practiced there. Sorry, I'm pouring myself a big-ass glass of water. Oh my god, I'm doing it really badly. Fuck. I just spilt it. I was getting too techie with it, but... what on earth is Fire Nation? What are these words you're saying? Watch it, because I have no idea. It's just an unforced error. 100% it's dumb. I don't know why she's talking about that. What is Fire Nation? I actually don't know. Okay. I fumbled this line, plain and simple. To be clear, my foreign policy... Am I being dumb? Is it plain as in Plain, not plain as in plain? Is this just a mistake, or is this like, here in America, y'all, we type plane because there's only one kind of plane, y'all? Anyway, plain and simple. To be clear, my foreign policy priority is ending Israel's occupation, apartheid, and genocide in Palestine. I also reject the notion that anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. And it's important that we distinguish the two in order to combat the actual anti-Semitism. By the way, if you're saying this shit, just straight up say, this is the Democratic Party that has done this. The Democratic Party, with its behaviour, has left a wide open rift for these people to just go in and exploit. True, completely true. And also, left-wing media, all of this shit, you have failed. And your decision to, like, pump out the Israeli narrative rather than bothering to listen to Palestinians is insane, to say the least. It's plain. Yeah, I know. Plain is a synonym for basic. That's why I assumed it was plain and simple. I was like, hang on a second. It's plain and simple, not plain and simple. Not as in, like, not a plane that flies along like this, you know, goes in the sky, like plain as in vanilla. Okay, I have always been opposed to any form of ethno-supremacy, and I refuse to vote for any of our tax dollars to go to any government that discriminates on that basis. I was being asked about rising anti-Semitism in this interview, and I was trying to say that my concern is while voters across the political spectrum wake up to Israel's atrocities and our government's complicity in it, the Democratic Party is failing to meet the moment. What I do think about this... about like you know what she's saying is, yeah, if someone asked you about anti-Semitism, it's not a bad way to flip it on its head, to be like, oh, actually, are you concerned about anti-Semitism on the left, and to use it to go, actually, my greatest concern when it comes to anti-Semitism is that, you know, we have these people who are anti-Semites piggybacking off the pro-Palestine movement and using it for their own gain. Which is, yeah. You never watched Avatar, The Last Airbender? No. They will try and make the anti-Zionism the new woke 1.0. Now, why do you think I'm trying to... One of the things is I realize, like, this debating shit, by the way, there are so many Zionist debaters. I'm going to put them in my crosshairs, and I'm going to go for them. I went for Lonerbox, and I think Lonerbox is probably one of the most sophisticated Zionist debaters that there really is. That's, like, making YouTube videos. I think all of them pale in comparison to him. And... if I'm clever, if I'm smart, like that opinionated girl the last few times has come on and just talked. The second her feet were actually held to the fire today, you saw what happened. She ran. But it's like, you know, do not let this go away. Do not let people be fooled in any capacity. Make them feel strong in their beliefs. Now, I don't think it's good that... I think that the concern about what's happening... Oh my gosh. I think it is right to be concerned about what's going on with Tucker Carlson and stuff. It's definitely not my greatest concern related to Palestine, but I would rather that, like, revolutionary energy of Palestine-related politics is not just, you know, recycled into spending your time thinking about Palestinians... thinking about whether Charlie Kirk was assassinated by Israel and that Israel is like this big devil and America's never done anything... wrong, you know. I did see Finkelstein talking to Hassan. I might have reacted to that, but it's so long. But yeah, she did fumble this 100%. Okay, right. And when the party refuses to lead morally on the issue, they are letting anti-Semites on the right
Welcome to the Burgerite.
co-opt the movement for Palestinian liberation while giving fodder to AIPAC talking points. Hey, Sandman, thank you for becoming a member over on YouTube. Greatly appreciate it. My go. All of the memberships hope. I need to throw in the extra memberships we've got because we're heading towards 100. We've got 28 days to achieve it. We have a mammoth task. I was going to say mammalian, but we have a mammoth task. We will achieve it. Nah, his neck just did that. That is true. That's why people are being dumb, and they're starting to think that that people are being dumb and starting to think that it may not have just happened like that. I don't know. Is either stopping the genocide or helping the. Your greatest concern either is stopping the genocide and helping the Palestinians, or you're not serious. Preach. You preach, my man. Okay, but Sana is right. A movement for liberation must center the Palestinians being oppressed, occupied, and systemically exterminated, and the Islamophobia and anti-Palestinian racism used to justify genocide is too often ignored. That's great. I'm glad to hear that she apologized. Let's see whether she actually does anything different, or this is just an indication of her heading down that same silly path. Okay, guys, on that note, I'm surprised that I've managed to hit up 3 hours and 40 minutes. I was thinking I was going to end up a little way earlier. I thank you all for coming today. We're going to have a bit more of an organized stream tomorrow. I really deeply appreciate everyone who's supported, who's commented, who's liked, and who's whatever, who's become just like my man Joygy, who just subscribed with Prime. My man. Thank you for my the final Prime. If anyone wants to check it out, there will be a debate already put up on my YouTube with that opinionated girl, but I'm going to clip that down and edit it and re-upload it. I'm going to chill for the rest of Sunday. I hope you all have lovely days. I certainly have. See you guys later.